Let's go.
Not enough for most people to
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
We're still the big powerhouse, but even domestically here, there's a power struggle.
Oh yeah, that certainly is. But, ladies and gentlemen,
Ich möchte Ruler nicht auf Sig sehen. Ich möchte nicht auf Sig sehen, da wird er nämlich immer gedived. Das macht Genji nicht gut. Sie lassen Ruler immer auf Botlane alleine zu Zeitpunkten, auf denen man nicht alleine gelassen werden darf, und er wird immer gedived. Immer, 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 immer. Es ist immer dasselbe mit denen.
Jace and the Galio also removed. Chovy has been defaulting back to it.
Yeah, it's his most played this season, or this is, you know, this post-international, I believe. So
Galio Ban sagt uns erstmal nicht so viel.
Take a look at what the rest
Außer vielleicht Cassio.
The Ezreal ban towards Ruler really makes a lot
Eventuell
of sense.
Cassio.
A lot more of this. I think the Rise group will eventually catch on that this pick is just too flexible, too safe. And basically at this point, all of our older AD carries are insanely good at it, and our younger ones are getting up there too, even players like Diablo.
Yep.
So Lucian taken away from Gumayushi. It's been one of his best picks of the season.
Well, Poppy by
Maokai Ulti ist bugged, ist manchmal visuell nicht sichtbar.
So many champions.
Aus Player-Perspektive dementsprechend disabled.
I think you do not ban Vi as HLE.
Was ist für ein Sound die ganze Zeit?
First pick, although they decide otherwise here.
Yeah.
Might be able to get Zeka's hands on the Orianna if Genji are worried about something else here. Poppy, I don't think necessarily a first pick option, and not definitely one that Kanavi has pushed his way into very often either.
Yeah, I think the Skana pick is certainly looming.
What about just a Kanavi first pick Lee Sin?
That's what I was thinking, and then I was like,
Habe ich schon eine geile Series verpasst? Nee. Nudel Bros gegen Bros waren eine Shitsteuer.
Anivia.
Mag Anivia sehr.
Straight out of the gate would be crazy. It is a flex pick between Zeus and Zeka almost uniquely for Hammer Life Esports.
Camille mit Galio gebannt, mit Vi gebannt.
Okay, so Camille Ziggs probably what's going to be coming in here for HLE. Ridiculous on the Ziggs. That is going to be Cassiopeia instead. Nice little trick. Let's see what Chovy's going to do into this.
Let's see, indeed. You could just grab the Camille bottom lane here.
Sie sollten auf gar keinen Fall Camille grabben. Auf gar keinen Fall sollten sie Camille grabben. Junge, was ist das für ein... Ihr hört dieses Cracken auch im Sound, oder?
If you're looking for that Camille, but it's not necessarily the strongest laning phase, but you could go Syndra if that's your angle. Like, we get a whole
super.
once the mid lane's locked in as to what kind of composition is going to be built here. Chovy will opt for that Anivia that has been such a renewed force here in Korea in general and across both Kespo Cup here and LCK.
Yep. I imagine a little bit inspired by Scout's performance earlier on in the day. Did look great on the Anivia, even if they did end up losing the game. Something that Chovy did utilize to great effect when he was playing in the Kespo Cup.
Even though they didn't opt for the Syndra.
Jin 1-2.
Okay. Very, very interesting. So Jin going to be the priority. Not wanting to blind a Lee Sin or anything like that with the Skana still looming, but where does HLE go? Because they can still play.
Ooh, a Caitlyn lane. Also a strong lane here for Guma.
Kate Bart, super. Kate Bart, super.
I think that's probably where they're going to head. If they go Caitlyn,
oh, wow.
But they're actually going to pivot.
Ich hätte Kate Bart wirklich appreciated hier.
So Shen, Caitlyn would actually be okay, to be honest. But
they can just grab a jungle here and keep it a little bit more open-ended as well if they want a prio jungle pick like Kanavi's Jarvan. Instead, they'll take the Syndra themselves, but into the bottom lane.
Finde ich's. Weiß ich nicht, ob ich das so geil finde.
Very successful.
Mit der Syndra besser. Wow, deutlich besser. Deutlich besser.
This is what I was kind of alluding to, which I think makes more sense, which will be the Jarvan here for Kanavi. He didn't have his best game career-wise the last time around he played it, but it is one of his best picks and most picked this year.
I'm expecting Genji just to round out the bottom lane, secure a good support for Duro and for the Jin lane. I think what you need is to have actual pressure down there, otherwise the Jin finds it.
Wie auf dem Live-Patch, yes, ist der 15er-Patch, siehst du in der Mitte. Bisschen auf 3, also ich mag die First Free von Genji auch. Der Jarvan hat halt extrem viel Value stand jetzt.
Just to make sure they didn't get skarnered in this one, but I like the setup here for the Jarvan Cassiopeia quite a lot into the matchup of the Anivia. The Jin very immobile here as well into Jarvan, feels pretty scary, so Bard's not going to make it.
No, I don't think
so. The second phase here for GENG. Sorry to Duro, but he won't be getting his hands on that one.
And I'm really curious about what else is going to be picked up
Poppy's offen.
Cassio, because I'm thinking that a Rumble would fit pretty nicely into this HLE draft right now, but that means that Gumayusi will not be able to play Ziggs. That's way too much magic damage, and so you wouldn't really be able to find as much success there.
I don't think he's necessarily looking for a Ziggs pick here. I think the Corki pick makes a lot of sense, or ban rather, makes a lot of sense because the pick itself would have made sense to control a lane into the Jin. Maybe they could play Karma, GENG could, but their engage is so weak.
Yeah.
I don't know if HLE Esports are super worried about that pick in particular.
Keen on for the engage.
There's no Lucian, so they're just trying to keep Guma out of a winning lane here.
Will they still ban Caitlyn or something like that?
Caitlyn could work. It's not necessarily a strong pairing with Shen.
Olaf.
That's a
Keen wants to play Nah. What do we reckon?
I mean, he certainly could be angling for that. They have counter pick though for the top lane, where the Anivia is still technically a held flex, but
ooh, that's a good point.
See what does come through here now in this final banning phase for HLE Esports. Again, I don't expect the Karma. They'll ban the Ambessa here in return, so Gnar's still a possibility, but I don't think you want to blind it. You have to save it for last here for GENG if that's what you want. And there's still a lot of counter picks available. I mean, yes, Olaf.
Bart raus, Ambessa raus, Olaf raus. Wir haben jetzt theoretisch einen Rumble-Engel, oder? Für GENG? Rumble? Aber gibt's noch mehr Jarvan Value?
Things difficult to pick, to be honest, when the Olaf is kind of looming. There's not a lot of great options into it. Even the Jax doesn't necessarily work. Even if that has been the best option that they've had. Poppy.
Poppy's offen, Poppy's gepickt, ja, okay.
It's flexible between the two remaining positions that were left over. And so you could be just slamming that into the bottom lane.
This is the strong pushing lane. There were
that's the Rumble.
Misfortune.
Oh my god, this wombo combo. I was talking about it, right? Like the Rumble is such a good pick for what they had already with the Shen and the Jarvan, not to mention the miasma that goes on the ground. And now you have a bullet time, lay it over the top. Thank goodness they have the Keeper's Verdict, because otherwise this could have been an absolute disaster.
Ja, die 4-5 von Hanwha gefallen mir sehr. Ich frage mich, warum sie nicht, warum hat
God, it is on. It is. I shouldn't have put that into.
Fix der On die Probleme? Oh. Eure Meinungen? Während ihr natürlich votet.
It's an awkward draft, I feel, for GENG. And I don't know whether it's an awkward draft because it looks so similar to the Nongshim draft.
Hat GENG Damage? Ich glaube, GENG hat okay Damage. Mein Problem ist eher, ist die Comp von Hanwha in Teamfights nicht zu simpel und hat dieser Jarvan nicht zu viel Value.
So that you can play through the Lee Sin tempo advantage. But then it's got an Anivia and an Ornn, so playing early is very tricky. If there's any Anivia player, I think, who can play an early game and make a lot happen earlier, even more than Scout, it's Chovy. And I think GENG are putting a lot of trust in his ability to pilot this champion to the
Ich finde, der Jarvan hat so viel Value, ich bin mir nicht sicher.
This draft for GENG is weird. It's like many drafts we've seen before that doesn't have a clear identity. It has 5 champions that are pretty good at either countering the role they're playing against in their lane or are high tier, but it doesn't form a cohesive composition like the HLE composition, which has so much combo potential. A lot of lane pressure and scaling as well in that Cassiopeia that's going to be able to match the Anivia in the late game. I think Hanwha feel very comfortable with what they got here.
I would agree. I do think that there are some things that are kind of cool out of GENG's draft, right? You do have the classic Anivia Poppy combo that was popularized a million years ago by Albus Nox Luna with set up the wall, get the Poppy to slam into it. Very similar to what we saw in the previous game with the Camille. That's kind of cool. I think the Keeper's Verdict is going to be so valuable because HLE really do want to pile in on top.
PJ, danke fürs ganze Jahr.
Coming down, you can then sort of slam things away. What's Wadid doing here?
That sign said, don't forget you.
Oh no, that's not Wadid. That's Chovy. What is wrong with me? His smile looked similar, and my brain isn't working. I apologize to Chovy, but congratulations, Wadid. Okay.
It says, for me, round 3 starts today.
Well, I think that is a good mindset to be in for both of these teams. Just forget that last week ever happened. And also forget that Tuesday happened as well, if you are HLE, because they didn't do so well on that one either. Although it was definitely a little bit of a roughie.
It's so
Auf die Klausur lief gut. Warum ist
I
er
love to
Sonic?
see Sonic also making an appearance.
Yeah.
It's so weird that I'm watching an HLE versus GENG matchup where all the fan signs are like, "Don't give up. You can turn this around."
Yeah, it's just not normal. It's not what we're used to seeing. There are a lot of fans here and a lot of fan signs. So much support being thrown at these players that
Some of these Hanwha signs are threatening. Don't you dare.
You want MSI.
Three
you're not
losses
allowed.
in a row. No, 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 she says with a really scary, I think that's Jangu's father. But in a very Satoshi Kon looking art style there.
Yeah, I also know that those style of photos, they're ones that that Chronicler's sister used to take all the time. Remember, we were at his wedding, and she took photos of everyone like that. They're terrifying. I didn't know that it's a thing that's all over the place.
Also ich glaube, Itembild.
Now it's infecting my brain. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get onto the Rift for game number 1.
Sehr viel wird mit dem Itembild zusammenhängen. Was geht der Jin für ein Itembild? Geht Anivia für ein Zero Damage Itembild? Mal sehen. Wird spannend.
All right. Humble Life Esports fans in full voice here today as Keen. Oh, he's the train conductor. Love that skin. Beautifully done. Nice little deport here for Zeus. Does come down as he does miss the first harpoon. But
He was just charging his heat more.
yeah! Or something. Capybara there for Chovy. Do really like that. Yeah, they just emote for a little bit, and then it's let's electrocute each other or burn each other in Zeka's case. In goes the light, finds a nice taunt onto Ruler.
So that's a level 1 for Misfortune. Gonna heal up, try to get a little bit more tempo in this lane.
Wie viel Todes aber Kanavi in Game 1? Ja. Frage ist eher, ob er Level 3 invadet. Ich glaube, er könnte auf jeden Fall.
Every time she autos, especially.
Er könnte definitiv Level 3 invaden auf Bot-Side, wenn er will.
Hurts too.
The love tap is pretty powerful here, but the bouncing grenades have been, or dancing grenades, going to be working out here for Ruler.
Well,
that does soften up Gumayushi. Yeah, they do bounce, but technically...
The dancing is kind of like a euphemism, let's be honest.
True.
They're bouncing.
All right, Delight will take a little damage from Duro. Does feel like a good Poppy support angle. With the Shen already shown, does give you the opportunity to do it. Does that count as a cast?
Delight's like, I'm not dashing, I'm just walking on top of you.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna get it done, as they will hit level 2, but this bottom lane is supposed to be advantage to MF in the early levels. This is the lane they chose.
Toffifee. Schon gut. Ist schon gut.
Not even playing it with Aurel in this case because they have that Jarvan set up.
Oh, Chovy, he's burning. These Twin Fangs are going to really hurt as Zeka with a lot of control here in this lane. Actually double the farm right now. Cassiopeia doing what it says on the tin in this matchup.
I see a lot of red gold leads across the board here for Hanwha Life. Even Zeus turning that topside matchup around, stabilizing there against the Ornn, who had a little bit of extra push on him. As you can see across the board here, some pretty big champions for this squad here. Ruler 7-3 and 5-2 for Chovy on that Anivia. So, obviously a little bit less meta is the Ornn right now. It's Keen's first of the season. Kanavi, 9 games of Jarvan, which is, at the beginning of the year, I kept getting mad when he was allowed to play it because it was just not fair.
Yeah, he was just picking it every single time he had an opportunity. And we'll be able to get to this bottom crab a little bit earlier on. Double longsword as Canyon makes his way back from base. As Chovy almost going to be poisoned down to
Ja, Laneface erneut, ne? Nicht so viel drauf.
an earlier teleport than usual.
Kanavi looking for
Aufpassen.
He is going to get
Lol.
it and takes the passive with a flag. That was cute.
That was such a cute play there. Zeka's got
Jetzt kriegen sie halt einen Push-Out
the
Mitte.
whole time. Like, I think you can get it with a flag. Wow. All right.
That's really annoying. That flag does not do a lot of damage.
Well, the crazy thing is it means that Chovy's back is messed up because it's such a long stasis that he's just going to stay now with his full health, but he doesn't get his mana back.
Yep, and he also doesn't have the passive now. So Zeka teleports back to lane, and Chovy is under very real threat. Is Canyon?
Oh, turnt er?
Yeah, speaking of threat, Keen is going to get the flash out.
Oh, er ist tot, oder?
Ja. Just going to safeguard.
Muss turnen, schaut, ob Kanavi kommt. Die müssen schnell spielen. HLE. Genji meine ich.
Okay. And there is first blood over the Lee Sin. Canyon, he can certainly do damage with this, as Steadfast Presence will deny the taunt from Delight. And a bit of a 2v2.
Ja, und auf Mitte, wie geben sie Chovy den Base?
Yeah, that was a pretty big win, especially because Zeus flashed and wasn't able to save him. Kanavi was coming over, but was just way too far away. We'll just back off into his Krugs now.
Oh, Duro going to take a lot of damage from Zeka as these Twin Fangs. One more would actually mean the end.
Jesus.
Especially after that Noxious Blast connected, but Zeka will let him live for now.
Touch burns so hard. And Zeka is kiting like a madman as well, just maximizing the damage there. Stutter Step is real as Delight coming over here to a Ruler with no friends with this wave crashing, but I think Ruler is going to be totally fine. Yep, just going to look for another plate. Or the first plate, I should say, since they don't actually have one, but another hit on that plate.
Well, it does want to go back home. We'll see whether he does answer the call that she's already built.
Really.
Haben ihn gut gespielt, nein, jetzt hier von Zeus da den zu flashen und dann Zeit rausholen zu wollen. Frag mich, warum er nicht... Hätte er nicht vielleicht sogar überlebt, wenn er innen reingelaufen wäre, in Kanavi? Naja, ist ja egal.
Doesn't really mean anything. And now he's down flash, so that could be another problem for him in the future.
Ooh, HLE will be able to get first track on this Dragon. Going to be a first Drake Ocean as well, which will be very, very nice for all these lanes.
Able to
wir haben ihn dann für den 18. Es ist super illegal, ob es kein war so obvious.
That he or anyone can come over here for a contest. Ocean into Chemtech. It's a fiery start for a potential big soul.
Yeah, Chovy having a much better time now that that Glacial Storm is available. The fun times for Zeka seem to have...
Ja, ich befürchte, dass Chovy hier fördert im Rocket Belt gehen wird. Dementsprechend wenig Damage machen wird.
Zeka doesn't have TP anymore, but we'll be able to get this back.
Und die mal dann für den 15. auch.
Yeah, Buckler hits the ground. Duro will be able to collect that and takes a bunch of damage as a response. Don't know whether it was necessarily worth, but that's okay. And looks like Delight will just be able to go home. So Duro checks that one. Now they will be able to zone Gumayushi away. Minion wave was dealt with though.
Guma has a significant lead in farm, so does Zeka. That's why even though with first blood over to GENG, they're actually really even in gold right now. The call is also on the way for Guma, so he'll cash that one in, and we'll have a pretty nice spike towards this early mid. Kanavi on this Jarvan wants to be getting a lot done here. Was able to make a few impacts on the map, but no kills just yet for him, which is quite unusual.
Chovy, the flash forward from Zeka. Chovy gonna have to flash to get out of the way of the taunt. Smart idea there, but flash for flash in the mid lane, and Chovy.
Ja, das bedeutet jetzt wahrscheinlich, Chovy wird einmal sterben. Ist auch weird, dieser Spectator-Bug, dass du... Ich weiß nicht, ist es ein Cassio-Spectator-Bug? Aber du siehst das Gold, wenn er last-hittet dich, ne? Es sieht so aus, als ob er jeden Minion misst, aber...
I think the minions might disappear though, so GENG pretty happy about that. Duro comes on over to find out what Delight is doing. Kanavi moves in, remember Chovy.
Oder? Wow.
Steadfast Presence was beautiful to answer, and they do look to turn it here. Chovy with that
super gesaved
onto Kanavi.
Haben Sie Angst vor Lee Sin eventuell? Weil ich glaube, ansonsten hätte man auch Flash ulten können.
As expected, it did turn into a 3v3, but that Steadfast Presence was the one that ended the aggression for Hanwha Life Esports, and that's the end of that. If he doesn't hit that, actually a pretty scary moment there for Chovy in the mid lane, but Duro presses the button at the exact right time. Delight's not able to find what he was looking for. And we just reset back to this 1-0 game state here, with both compositions having some pretty good scaling. I do think that Canyon has been able to have the better early game here, and that's what Lee Sin often grants you. Not playing into the Skarner, found that pressure point on the overextended Rumble top side, and now looking to hover top side here for these grubs on spawn, as he has control vision, and his Ornn has prio. Zeka's not even in lane just...
Anivia, Entschuldigung, nicht Cassio. Anivia. Man sieht bei Chovy sieht man das CS-Kill-Gold nicht. Der hier ist inevitable, der Death. Das ist Eggverlier, das ist katastrophal. Aber einer war, also, einen musste er tanken hier ohne Flash-Timer.
And I think one grub did go over to GENG, but that's all they're going to be able to get. As now Ruler fighting against Gumayushi. He's level 6, does have that bullet time, throws it down here, and Ruler...
Wird gleich ulten, also Gumayushi muss mir hinterher rennen, ja.
He walked out just enough. Now he's going to use his ult.
Yeah. Let's see whether Gumayusi can dodge any of these. Barrier
Der
is
killt nicht.
now-
Was? Der killt!
With the full shot! I didn't think that was enough damage.
Der killt! Es ist der Serrated Dirk. Yumus Ghostblade ist der korrekte Item-Build.
He had the Dirk in hand, and that's enough extra lethality damage to take him out there.
Oh
and
my gosh.
that was such a volatile moment because I thought
Serrated Dirk plus Adaptive Force Potion.
was channeled. If he didn't leave instantly, Gumai just flashed double upped on him and then killed him. But instead, Ruler pulls the ultimate out after backing away, and Guma does not flash that fourth shot.
Well, Canyon also playing respectfully here.
Ich hab nicht erwartet, dass er
Will
stirbt.
be donated over to Kanavi. Delight, good positioning there. Zeka with control of the wave. And GENG retain a very slight gold lead as a result of Ruler making his way back into this lane. Canyon a lot more battle stats.
Hobby braucht definitiv Level 6.
Like that.
So-
Allows him to be a bit more brawly.
I had a
Jovi's
feeling
dead
this was
again.
going to happen when we panned over to the replay.
Ja, es
He was
ist...
going to die necessarily, but I knew there was definitely going to be action in the mid lane.
Dieser Flash-Trade, den Zeka genommen hat, ist so schlau.
Is almost 1,000 gold up off this plate. He will be over Chovy in this game, and this is a very early lead for a Cassiopeia. And in that last play, we were looking at towards the grubs, which I guess we're not going to look at now because we have this play instead. So I'm going to fight for this for Misfortune.
And still has the flash, actually.
He gets just far enough away where he knows Agumi can't flash on him anymore. Oh. He was surprised as well.
이게 죽네. 와.
And also, there was a Poppy coming down, as you guys could see in the peripheral there. So probably would have been in trouble either way. And Chovy here just gets Cataclysm by the Jarvan. Smite to finish.
Flag, drag, Cataclysm.
Ja, die Sache ist, du kannst Chovy auch nicht auf Silent packen, ne? Also der braucht einfach Flash.
Does have his steel caps now as well, so feeling very.
Hat jetzt auch
ready.
Swifties, also auf den nächsten Flash-Channel
It's
sollte
not
es
gonna
fein
do
sein.
him all that much good if the Rumble or Cassiopeia ever get on top of him. As Delight just get queued here by Duro momentarily. Kanavi moving on down. There is a great steadfast presence. The reaction time from Duro has been fantastic.
He doesn't have it for a Kanavi engage, but Kanavi's not going to be able to get access. However, they do end up having the river now controlled for a potential dragon take here. Second of the game is up and spawned now.
Yeah, they need to keep his verdict. There is level 6 for Duro. Glad that the LCK did show us that one, as there is
Right,
Delight
hat kein
taking a
Flash.
lot of damage. Gumayusi makes it rain. But Ruler is
Boah,
able to
kriegt
throw
ihn
some
nicht?
damage through here as well. They all scatter though as the bullet
Warum
time
nicht?
comes in. And now Safeguard will get Canyon.
Jawan ulti ist auch available.
Dragon from Kanavi doesn't do too much, but there's a Cataclysm. Duro flashes away.
Oh mein
Safeguard
Gott.
really finding an angle here, and Kanavi gonna get locked down. There is Canyon.
Oh mein Gott, war das ein geiler Cancel, hat Kanavi nicht gespielt. Ich glaube, der hat gar keine, der hatte keine Flagge auf dem Boden, ne? Also der Q war einfach hin.
Is also TP down, didn't have
Stark.
Equalizer. And I think they could have made a few different.
Jetzt ist die Frage, können die auf Bot den Raw doggen mit der
For
Ulti?
example, just keep their Rumble top side, right? They could have decided to back away from that fight. The ultimate there from Gumayusi, the bullet time was very low impact, as GENG just did not care about it, ignored it entirely. We are going to have Infernal Soul here, as we're tied up now a Drake apiece. And Zeka also couldn't really get anything done in this fight. So watch how this starts off initially here. Guma's in this angle, right? And they're going to try to make a play here with... Okay, never mind. We can't do replays. It's illegal.
Yeah, Zeka is going to take a lot of damage.
Okay.
These hits onto Chovy, but
Bisher ein gutes Game von Canyon auch.
and Delight just has to watch and then leave. Finally, some revenge here for the mid laner of GENG, who's kind of being bullied.
GENG in a really nice spot now in this game, getting the dragon, getting the kill here on to Zeka.
Trotzdem, Teamfights müssen wir später schauen, Junge. Er geht wirklich diesen 0 Damage Item Build. Okay, die wichtige Frage bei Ruler ist drittes Item.
Outplay with his ultimate. So really brilliant play here from the Lee Sin. Watch him come over on this angle.
Yeah, Hex Flash does
Zeka
come in.
flashes, but he flashes for the kick. And it ends up stunning Chovy, the ultimate there, but Chovy doesn't care. Canyon's having a day out on the Lee Sin. And they played a little bit of Lee Sin chicken in the draft.
Kann gut sein, auf dem 16er Patch ist die Sin doch overpowered.
Jarvan
Mit Eclipse first. Statt Sanat.
Game, but Canyon has definitely had a larger impact.
And that's the dangerous thing about picking your jungler in that stage of the draft as well. I think if they had have foregone that, then it could have been an opportunity to get a bunch of bans out, right? There may be some of these other options could have been left up and available, like the Olaf, for example, like the Corki, which could have done some good here in this draft. However,
it does feel like such a jungle off, though. You know what I mean? Like, both jungles have made such a large impact. Like, Canyons has been definitely better, but Kanavi is no slouch. Like, he's been camping the mid lane, gets another flash out of Ruler here.
And Keen has his Rook Urn completed, so this On is just cruising through this game. 200 gold ahead of the Rumble right now. Oftentimes we talk of...
Warum MF? Ja, well, ganz viele andere Carries warten gebannt.
You can fall behind, but then be more useful later. He didn't even do the fall behind part. He's just kind of okay. Now able to build a few more items and head back towards the bottom side of the map this time. Slight will take some damage. Good deadly flourish there from Ruler. But nothing more going to really happen here. A lot of cinders for Canyon to pick up.
They wanted to set up for a dive onto Ruler since he lost his Flash, but it's just such a good cover.
Chovy mit Flash ist natürlich auch super safe. Ja, jetzt, wie Kars auch gerade gesagt haben, ne? Also Ruler ist jetzt hier auch erstmal auf sich sicherlich erstmal das Target. Aber er steppt nicht nach vorne, ist gut. Ich sollte HLE für einen Fight gehen wollen oder für einen Play, dann müssen die richtig over sein. Also war. Sieht so aus, als ob wir fast einen Jarvan Ulti-Engel geben, oder?
Vision of everyone up and available. Full information here for both GENG and HLE as they fight for the wave. But kind of awkward when it is this Jhin and Misfortune that just kind of end waves over and over again.
It's a really nice time for the Misfortune right now because she has that obvious BT advantage to where she could just kind of chunk at Ruler, but needs more help to actually really threaten any serious damage as Canyon's going in, and then he's going out.
Geht Kanavi rein? Kanavi geht rein.
Cataclysm does come on through, though.
Also.
Comes on down, and there's the safeguard to get him out of there. But now,
it's
Keen's turn to try and get an engage, but he gets taunted.
Was Kanavi teilweise abzieht, ne? Das ist so geil. Da zu engagen mit Ulti auf einen Sin, by the way, das ist so endgeil und das funktioniert einfach.
Take out the On, and yes, the last one hits onto Zeus, but it does basically nothing, and HLE will be gifted a Rift Herald.
Now, Zeus, his TP did damage. Unfortunately for Keen, he was trying to set something up on the other side, but there was no way to link the two, and Duro falls first, Keen falls second. This Herald is a steal at best for Canyon, but he'd lose his life for it. He doesn't opt in, and Ruler now in trouble.
Yeah. Zeka does get a little bit angry here. Deadly Flourish does come down. Statue United!
Was macht GENG?
Down to the egg and then into the grave. Duro might follow, but there is the safeguard. And GENG just falling apart in the blink of an eye here.
In the snap of their finger.
Oh, nice little kick back onto Guma. He's overextended and Canyon will shut him down. That's HLE going to have that gold lead removed from the 2,000 mark, but it's still very large.
That's Canyon right there. You know, he's
so weird. Also hier von Kanavi zu engagen, ich find's hilarious.
A little bit low on buttons, uses the kick, and then as his cooldowns come back, he's able to make some fancy poke happen.
Auch die Duro-Ulti als...
Keen does here, and what the Rumble
does... Einmal die Spell-Usage ist so...
damage to take him out, so he just does so much with this equalizer, prevents the retreat from Duro, and now this Jhin can't get access, and Hanwha Esports are a wedge between the flanking Ornn and the carries on the other side, as then Ruler here gets gunned down. The ultimate here is, I believe, sidestepped there by Chovy, who gets taunted and egged anyways. He goes down, and then Canyon says, Guma, that's just a step too. Really, Canyon was fishing for like so long. He's like, nah, can't actually be this greedy, not gonna allow it.
Yeah, really, really nice. Deadly Flourish there as well.
Like Canyon was, he saw that play like 3 steps ahead.
I think most of us did, except for Gumayushi is now Keen. Let's see whether he can
Break it on GENG. Engage vom On ist ziemlich gut. Die müssen fürs Target spielen, aber nur. Bessere Poppy, viel bessere Poppy-Ulti. Nächster Nivea Wall wann? Deus.
Gets out, and they're a little out of range. Last shot does connect onto Zeka, and that is GENG finding themselves an angle.
Kind of came out of a replay suddenly there, so not entirely sure how that all started, because so much of this fight is about the setup that is in place. But I can tell you that Ruler wasn't under any threat, and he did a lot of work. Taking a look at it again, Canyon's on the Dragon. Herald is used here with the wall really to die any sort of potential value out of it. Duro goes in to give a front line here. Canyon collapses with Ruler there and takes out the Shen.
Keeper's verdict, absolutely fantastic from Duro as well. Just evicts Gumayushi in the middle of his ultimate, and that means no more damage.
So a small victory there for GENG, but a victory nonetheless. They get the second dragon for them of the game. They get that kill onto Delight. The setup was superior, as Chovy also, I think, is going to be okay here with this rotation up of Duro. I don't think they can dive him. He's holding this wave back as well, just to be able to farm these next.
Oh no, these little minions, they're getting so confused.
This is exactly what he wants, though.
Yep, and Duro going to deny the engage from Kanavi. Steadfast presence value has been quite high so far into the Jarvan and the Shen. And Swifty's going to be picked up here by Gumayusi. Going to be booking it around the rift. As not quite at a second item yet for Rule. A little bit unfortunate.
Late is Opscaling.
That's going to get him to 2 items.
Opscaling?
For this Gen.
Chovy has
Was meinst du? Welches Team ist es? HLE oder GENG? Wo er hat
5 points in it right now.
das Block mir erlaubt? Ja, schon ewig.
Play on the Kanavi. See if it's going to mean anything though. As he turns it.
Yeah, that is going to be equalizer down. That is
a das ergibt keinen Sinn.
Deadly sin. And I don't
Es bleibt Execution-based. Kanavi hat hier, ich glaube, der Jarvan hat hier zu viel Value. Mal sehen.
As he is just dropped. That's his first death of the game, and that's a pretty durable Jarvan.
Es ist der Stormrazor Item Build of Jhin.
Follow-up whatsoever. Chovy's in the top lane. The Jhin not even really able to impact that play whatsoever. So kind of an odd one to say.
Chovy geht Damage Build mit Malignance.
Shout out to the LCS Classic. It's okay. Let's see it one more time. I guess he was just wanting to use
Ruler
this extra
here.
gold. Oh, but the Flag and Drag negates the kick.
Like, Ruler is here, but there's just more HLE members on this side of the map.
Yeah, everyone was kind of ready.
I was even like in a weird way.
Arbeit auf Cassio? Ja, sehen wir immer öfters, aber er hat hier halt auch News, ne?
Doesn't mean that now Gumayusi is very far ahead, is able to look for a back here. We'll see how close to another full item he is going to be, as 2 of them have been completed finally for Ruler. So Gumayusi probably looking for a last Whisper item of some kind.
2 minutes ahead is Zeka right now on his Rod of Ages, so he'll be hitting that spike a little bit earlier. Not always the biggest difference maker, but sometimes can be in a brief interim. Canyon, again, probably wants to leave here.
Yeah, getting some vision down where he can. 1.5 minutes on this Drake will be soul point for GENG. As Kanavi moves in, teleport. Here.
Aha, 5 gegen 5, ja. Schaut auf Gumayusi unten, ne?
Steadfast presence, so good, keep it, gets rid of 2. Zeka kind of on his lonesome, but hadn't been turned on yet.
Gumayusi holt über die Wand, kommt nicht. Gumayusi ist komplett raus aus dem Teamfight.
Canyon gets knocked up, Kanavi goes in.
Holt hier Horrible von ihm, Duro Flash drauf, stirbt.
Flanking bullet time, not sure about that one as the curtains were cold, but Zeka
Chovy ist komplett
end the show just yet, and it looks like it's just Delight going down. And Gumayusi running a weird direction, might actually be able to catch up to Canyon with those Swifties, but not able to do so.
The biggest part of this
Zeka flash down.
This time around for the top laners is, okay, we're not done yet, because this time it's Zeka.
Yeah, we got another one. Keen just built Chovy a better Rod of Ages, but Zeka's making his way in. That's a great
flash
from Keen. Chovy flashes, and Keen's
jetzt die Sache, ne? Für wen ist der Drake-Fight favored? 30 Sekunden, du hast kein Flash auf Chovy, kein Flash auf Zeka, keine Ulti.
Potential turret take here, but it's going to take too long, and also a big wave is being lost by Guma right now in the mid lane. This game is crazy. Okay, so in this TP trade, this time they can cut the HLE members apart into 3 quadrants. Really, look at where Guma is on the other side. He can't get access. The knockbacks here split the fight into 3 different pieces of a triangle.
Guma ist halt absolut Faktor. Ich glaube, Duro hat noch komplett, also wirklich viel zu überreagiert auf die MF-Ulti, schau mal. Mies überreagiert. Duro hat auch keine Ulti ab. Position aber super awkward. Ich glaube, die müssen... Also entweder ist die Raw Dog mit der On-Ulti, die auch noch auf Cooldown ist. Die brauchen ohne On-Ulti. 10 Sekunden noch circa. Dann kann GENG Meta machen. 5 Sekunden. Zeka, kein Flash. Drake weg.
And no one is dead as a result. Ruler comes on over. We'll be able to grab some overgrowth here as Deadly Flourish and everything else. He just yells because he's angry. And that is the Ram coming on down.
Was war Kanavi da? Was hat Kanavi da gerade gemacht?
A lot of these cooldowns have been used.
Was hat Kanavi da gerade gemacht? Oh mein Gott. Hat sich selber aus dem Feuer rausgenommen.
And HLE have been entirely split. The equalizer doesn't do too much, but it does slow them down. Deadly Flourish here is now they're looking to turn onto this outer turret. And
geiles Secret von GENG.
Almost a team.
Roland Lang 25.
It was just all control of this area that GENG do manage to claim in the end.
I'd call it a team fight. It just didn't end up with anybody dying. It ended up with a turret dying for GENG. And again, the space control has been so much better for GENG in these last few fights. They have really just dismantled HLE's combo comp. And in this fight in specific, they go for Kanavi because he has Flash and Ultimate ready. And they were just like, no, we're not letting you combo with Guma, with Zeus in this fight. We're going to push you away. And Kanavi ended up getting chunked down to half health at the beginning of the fight and wasn't ever able to gain access. So once Hanwha were split like that, they had no choice but to leave.
Wunderbar. Ja, ich logge mich jetzt gleich an und dann spielen wir ab, Herr Mu. Okay. Ich logge mich jetzt gleich ein. Und wenn der Login erfolgreich ist, spielen wir ab, Herr Mu. 10 Games am Stück heute.
Just go watch Kanavi and the zone that GENG had onto him in that last fight.
Yeah, beautifully played here by GENG. They are still behind by about 1,000.
Und wenn ich mich nicht einloggen kann, gibt es zu 10 Subs, okay?
25 minutes into the game. That is not a very large sum. Keen does complete his Jack shows, but there is also a second item from Zeus immediately to come on through.
Wenn der Login durchgeht.
Let's get a control ward down. Kanavi spots him out there. Chovy gets an idea that he might have a few friends coming on up. Kanavi spotted though, and will just back away.
This is a
presets coming in from a lot of people actually.
Clean game of League of Legends. You know, there's been an occasional blunder here or there. Canyon going in.
Yeah, these are teams desperate for a bounce back, and like, I think that they have both really locked in for this one.
You could just feel the tension in this kind of lull state we have here. We're 2 dragons apiece. No one wants to make a proactive play that could toss this otherwise completely even game into total disarray. You have a lead for the Misfortune, right? But that lead matters very little later on in the game because the Jin has so much setup in this draft with the Orange.
Nein, Bruder, ich will nicht Flandre bei BLG oben sehen. Da muss die Mülltonne muss sich wie ein Mensch verhalten. Kein Fleisch immer noch bei Sekka.
A progressive play here for GENG, but instead has his friends coming over and they just back away. Both top laners.
Ja, mein Problem ist jetzt, ich vermute, okay, Chovy Best Item wäre wahrscheinlich Sonja. Ich befürchte, es wird ein Rocket Belt.
Pretty soon as well. Yeah, so Gumayushi sitting on 3 items. And the third one that Rule is going to purchase is going to be that Rapid.
Bro, du Motherfucker mit deinem Rapid Fire. Ich hasse dich.
Huge spike there. Does need armor penetration afterwards and Infinity Edge after that.
They're just trying to whittle down this turret right now on the top side, but it's not going to happen on this wave. As Chovy is just going to leave that ultimate ticking. And it's very Chovy. He is actually behind on farm. Rare situation for this mid laner, but eventually will whittle this turret down to 0 now on the next wave. And HLE don't group to contest this because they realize that the value gain for an outer turret and top is not worth.
Wir bekommen 30 Tage Urlaub dann. Das würde gerade noch fehlen.
Poppy, and they might toss the game for it. But that's kind of been the story of the last few passages of play. Even that play we were arguing whether it's team fight or not. Was another one of those moments where it's like GENG controls space, but they're not going to take one step further. And Hanwha Life Esports are also not going to challenge. They're just going to walk away and let the turret go because it's just not worth the risk.
Keen misses a cannon there. A little bit unfortunate, but he still gets to level 16. Needs to give some more items over to his teammates.
We're talking about how to make the surefire team fight happen.
Item XP-technisch auch kein großer Unterschied, oder? Lass mich mal kurz sehen. Canyon ist ahead. Wer ist Toplane? Es müsste even sein von XP. Mitte ist Sekka ein bisschen ahead.
So keep your eyes on the junglers. Right now, Kanavi down a level.
Yeah. Canyon, if he manages to catch Gumayushi out of position, if Gumi uses a bullet time and Canyon spots it, he's able to get that kick flash, does have access to both of those buttons.
GENG have so much control over the map right now, despite the small gold deficit they find themselves in. They have Prio on this dragon, they've got Chovy pushing waves topside, just being that hard pushing Anivia that has no answer right now.
Yeah, Stormraze is also upgraded, and Canyon also gets his Sundered Sky upgraded. That's a lot of extra stats here for GENG.
It's a K-Ram now.
Kein fertiger Rocket Belt.
Well, let's see who's going to
Ich glaube, Kanavi wird gleich Full Send. Also es schreit hier nach Kanavi gleich Full Send, oder nicht?
And controlling the battlefield. That's something that GENG's composition does extremely well. Even Keen just constructing random things over the sides here. Has good stun, lands, and there's a
Wow, aber nicht hart engaged. Ja, die spielen sie gut. Das spielen sie sehr gut, sehr langsam. Langsam composed sein. Jetzt vielleicht von Zeka ausbekommen und wieder langsam. Spielen sie sehr gut. Also wirklich sehr, sehr gut. Jetzt müssen sie nur Nash aufpassen.
It's another play where Hana would just run away and GENG get the objective they're looking for. Now, Canyon should be able to solo the Dragon.
Ist sehr, sehr gut gespielt, die Sequence. Langsam. Summoners Cooldowns ziehen nach und nach. Das war, also, wie sie diesen Fight hier gespielt haben, wow. Und jetzt hier der Hardcore mit. Wie sie diesen Fight gespielt haben, ist so viel besser als die letzten beiden Series. Sind für GENG oder was? Ich hab da nichts dagegen, ja. Ich mag gut exekutiertes Sieg.
There's Infernal Soul over to GENG, and they retain control of the map. This is such a weird game.
This is a dubstep song without a drop.
Yes. Hold. Come on, chat. You know what to do.
You know what to do, but eventually we're going to get to a point where GENG keep getting these small advantages, keep getting too much map control, and they actually get the kill they're looking for. Right now, Zeka's down his flash. Maybe he's not so lucky the next time they meet in that neutral setup. Maybe he does go down if GENG try to make a play happen around this Baron. And GENG also have one step closer to that permanent Infernal Soul buff, which would do wonders for them. It's not the most easy comp to proc it, but it is going to do a lot for the damage here of Chovy, of Ruler in these moments, especially also even Canyon getting into the backline, looking for that burst onto Guma. And they are now going to clear this vision on Baron. Like I said, GENG are slowly creeping across the map and forcing Hanwha to take these.
Wenn GENG weiterhin so langsam spielt, das ist sehr geil. Wie krass sind die Order-Items? So 1000 Gold in etwa an Value. Pi mal Daumen, 1000 Gold. Oh, upgraded Item.
Basically zero here for HLE, but I think GENG are ahead in this game.
Oh,
as long as they can control the map, which right now has been kind of permanent.
There's only one more ornament to deliver, and it's going to be over to Duro when Keen gets around to hitting level 17, which is going to be very, very soon. The problem is, GENG's composition is just...
Ich kann mal verteilt, ja. Ich meine, bei Chovy, die Stats sind okay zu haben. Canyon fast bis. Toplane bis. Und AD Carry, boah, kriegt der Attack Speed geupgradet? Weil sie ja nicht super bis. Der hätte den Gold upgraden sollen.
As well as the Glacial Storm, and Chovy just in general doing so much damage at this stage of the game.
That's why Hanwha just keep noping out of the fights, because they just can't do it.
Not to mention, Duro just says nope for them and sends them home.
Kanavi, who's their best setup engage here, but it's also a Shen that could do some engaging, but they're so combo-based with this Gumayushi Misfortune pick that if the conditions aren't right for the fight...
Ja, GENG muss weiterhin sehr langsam spielen. Dann super Posi für das Game hier. Ich frage mich nur, weil in meinem Kopf muss Kanavi ja, also Kanavi muss ja Flash engagen, right? Damit sie einen Fight finden. Super. Also, da muss ja ein Flash Engage kommen von Kanavi, aber ist das machbar? I mean, jetzt hier macht das. Wo ist die Wall? Wall muss gleich kommen. Da kommt gleich die Wall. Jetzt gleich dann. Sieht sehr unplayable aus, oder?
Great knock-up as Delight is going to be sent to the skies. But what GENG want is just more turrets, more map control, and more access to the Baron Pit, and maybe this Dragon in 2 minutes.
GENG are so patient in this game, and they just wait and wait and wait, and keep pushing and pushing and pushing with this wave clear until eventually someone makes a mistake.
Yeah.
And that someone is Zeus here. Canyon gets the slow with the smite. He gets the kick. The damage comes through. He's shoved into a wall. There's no equalizer to speak of here. It's a trade of top laner for most of a support's health bar here. And Kanavi was trying to set up for something here, but they are just caught and pushed back. Kanavi ends up eating the ult there, but the siege onto the turret is real.
Richtig nice.
Is the body that's found, and down goes the turret. Again, it's just one kill. And they get so much from it.
Yeah, and just
solange Double Flash-Up ist, sehe ich halt auch nicht, wie dann ein Fight kommen soll, den sie verlieren. Ich glaube, Ruler hat jetzt AI fertig. Ja, da ist AI. Ja, also, jetzt, Kanavi hat kein Fleisch mehr. Wie wollen sie Teamfight spielen? Ich glaube, es geht nicht. Ich glaube, es geht nicht.
Also, Hanwha are running away because they know that. It's going to take a big team fight here for Hanwha Life or a big mistake from Genji for them to get back that control. Now, if they do get it back, the tables will flip completely and Hanwha Life Esports will be like, okay, well, you're
Flanking Jump und Full Stand kannst du machen, aber Double Flash ab. Also, ja, ich sehe gerade nicht. Und das sage ich jetzt in Gedanken, dass wir nicht bei der Premier League sind. Ich sehe nicht, wie Genji einen Fight verlieren kann, wenn sie nicht komplett Mitte runterrennen. Egal wie Kanavi es anstellt, ob von welcher Flanker kommt, ich sehe es gerade nicht. Aber erneut. Ich habe gestern Dinge gesehen. Zeka muss mit Flash Miasman, ja, aber wen? Ruler hat Cleanse. Boah, dass Anivia so lange Toplane ist, finde ich interessant, weil eigentlich Anivia macht ja so viel hier. Hier nicht RNG in der Prime League, nein, hier ist nicht Conflict. Schaut auf Duro. Schaut auf Duro, Ulti. Trifft Zeka, oder? Ja, oh, beide Carries raus. Kanavi hat kein Flash. Großartig. Richtig stark. Die wollen für Finish gehen. Wirklich. Anivia Wall Combo mit Poppy.
It does deal with the wave, and Genji might actually like the idea of heading towards Baron instead.
I hope we get a replay of that last fight on the Dragon, because you'll notice that Zeus can't TP. Where does he go? Into the waiting arms of Genji? He has no TP order. If he goes to the left side next to Duro, he's going to be vulnerable for a collapse. And while they're waiting and thinking about it, Duro's channels.
Nee, in dem Chibi-Spot denke ich auch, dass er spielen konnte am Ende, oder nicht? Also für Woche 1 ging quasi.
Chovy gets here first, and it's again the late desperate TP because Zeus is like, well, I gotta show up. And he's still teleporting into 3 people by the end of it. And the fight is completely cut up and split. Genji, surgical and oppressive. The immovable rock that is this composition just continues to smash Hanwha Life Esports into very small pieces.
And Duro going to be able to upgrade his Locket of the Iron Solari as well. So all 5 ornaments have been doled out. Look at Chovy's buffs, man. That's insane. That's red buff, soul, blue buff, Baron. My gosh, just needs an Elder and he'll have the whole set. But I don't know whether we're going to be waiting 4.5 minutes unless something goes very wrong.
I mean, we already have talked about how hard it is for HLE to make proactive plays, but now their backs are against their base. They're not really finding an angle. They're sending Kanavi for side lane duty.
And if their backs are against a wall, then they're going to get knocked up by Keen, stunned by Duro. Chovy's going to put another wall down. That's not where you want to be. Backs against the wall is the worst place to be in this composition.
That's why they're standing behind it now.
Yeah. Kanavi is going to complete his GA before Canyon gets his. His Canyon went for a different third item in the Maw of Malmortius first. But look at this siege, man. They can put the walls down. They can protect these siege minions. As Duro looking for a flanking, goes Kanavi looking for Chovy.
Ja, und da ist der Flash Engage, ne? Jetzt bekommst du den Play nicht. Canyon ist auf Mitte, die spielen 2 Lanes. Jetzt musst du, also wie machen wir es jetzt? Zeka Flash Engage als nächstes. Der Light Flash Engage, Chovy hat aber Egg. Chovy ist tot. Ruler kann nicht hitten. Wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow.
Smashes the brittle. Ruler is just reloading in their faces. And down to the GA goes Kanavi. Not gonna find the flag because the real carry this game is the On. As Ruler chasing after Gumayushi. And he
muss nachladen, Igitt.
Guma is going to get slammed into the walls.
Er muss halt nachladen, das ist so ein Scheiß-Champ. Das war das beste Genji-Game seit so 2 Monaten, glaube ich. Unironic seit 2 Monaten, glaube ich, das beste Genji-Game.
He got Chovy, but that's all he's gonna get. And GENG.
Look at how tanky Keen is. This
Holy
is
shit.
absolutely absurd. The Nexus is gonna go down before
GG.
the Mountain Laser would have any chance of killing him. And there it goes. GENG will break the
Gut, ist gegen T1, okay, den habe ich nicht aktiv geschaut
from
jetzt.
last week, but they still need to win the series.
Just such a controlled game by GENG. This is the game that GENG fans were waiting for. They are elated. They held the cheers for a lot longer there as well. Waiting for every single member walked out. And this game from GENG is the type of macro slow, oppressive game that they have played through multiple iterations of multiple rosters that have made them one of the toughest teams to crack.
Rixum läuft irgendwann zwischen so Ende September rum. Ein CS-Turnier, das ich auch covern kann.
But when they got control of the map, they were immovable, and Hanwha could do nothing but run away, and eventually they ran out of space.
Yeah, you can't run all the way back because you just end up
So Pi mal Daumen Ende September bis Anfang Oktober.
One of the reasons why I doubted this was that I didn't think the On was going to be good enough
CS mal
into
fangen
the
wir im September
Rumble,
an.
and my God, did Keen make me a believer. It's not going to take away from the fact that Duro hard carried that game, but the On into Rumble, it worked way better than we'd seen previously this year. Time for us to take a short break, guys. When we get back, it is the space and then game number 2. We'll see whether HLE can bring us 6 games on the day.
Das was heißt CPVER? Ach, covern. Oh. Covern. Okay. Geil. Können wir in der Zwischenzeit beim gleichen Team mal reinschauen? Na klar, wer spielt denn gerade? Wer spielt denn hier gerade? Was ist denn das?
Ja, beide das gleiche. Vielleicht ist auch nur das Mic an.
Ja, Maxim hat man. Aber ich glaube, man...
Mittwoch 12 Uhr.
Also ihr seid qualifiziert, weil ihr den schnelleren Game-Time-Win habt. Bedeutet, ja...
Warte, Kiba als Team hat gewonnen gegen die?
Was? Ja, ihr seid jetzt quasi schon im Halbfinale. Ihr könnt euch jetzt quasi schon ausruhen, weil es mathematisch nicht aussieht.
Aha, Tolly spielt jetzt.
Alright, Chat, danke fürs Zuschauen, danke für euren Support, danke an Caster 1. Wir hören uns morgen.
Danke.
War der Sascha live? Sascha ist live.
Fürs Zuschauen, danke für alle Subs, danke für die Resubs.
Hä?
Ich sehe, ich bin übel leise. Und ich rede übel laut.
Ja, wir spielen doch noch jetzt.
Warum bin ich so leise?
Achso, das war nur ein Joke, oder was? Okay. So, jetzt haben wir mal wieder Tolly rein.
Schon noch mehr Sinn für das 6. Bann. Ist, was ich daraus
Ich glaube,
höre.
das wird jetzt ein richtig schweres Match.
Ja, aber ist doch geil. Müssen wir nochmal anspannen. Das wird
Ja,
schon.
geil ist es auf jeden Fall. Was machen wir dann morgen? Bin wir ein bisschen ranked?
Mike, wahrscheinlich. Die Sachen bei mir sagen auch, bei mir sagen auch alle, dass,
Warte, da steht jetzt im Chat, Team E gewinnt in 39. Team D gewinnt
bei
in
mir sagen auch immer alle, dass mein
damit
Stream
bereits
einfach
weiter.
allgemein
Team D
leiser
muss
ist als
gewinnen
die
oder
anderen
leiser
Streams,
als
aber
die
ich
anderen.
weiß
Das
nicht
macht
warum.
nicht so viel Sinn, aber wir müssen quasi in unter 41 Minuten gewinnen.
Ja.
Aber Team D spielt ja gar nicht mehr. Wie schnell jetzt?
Dein ganzes Stream ist recht leise, aber ich check's nicht.
Okay, also wir müssen einfach in unter 41 gewinnen. Alles klar.
Weil hier zum Beispiel, also wenn ihr seht, ich meine, ich kann es schon lauter stellen, aber schaut mal hier zum Beispiel. Das ist halt, also das tickt ja schon auf das Rote aus, ne? Also die Sache ist, ich kann hier, ich kann schon alles lauter stellen, right? Ich kann das schon alles bei Default lauter stellen, aber I don't know.
Das nur, weil Tolkien gesagt hat, jetzt rein.
Ja.
Ah, guck mal. Ja. Wir sind announced. Prime League Finale im Experion Köln. Ja, am 12. ist das Finale. Am 12. ist Finale. In Köln am 13. ist Relegation. Das erste Aufstiegsmatch. Das wird CGN wahrscheinlich sein. Also wird sehr sicher CGN sein. Gegen VfB, I guess. Ja. Ticketverkauf startet am 11.8. Da habt ihr das. 11.8. Ticketverkauf.
Konnte man jetzt tauschen oder nicht?
Nee, du kannst nur tauschen, bevor...
den Champ nicht.
Okay, also machen wir jetzt alles ein bisschen lauter nochmal. Right? Dann machen wir alles ein bisschen lauter jetzt. Und ihr macht den Scheiß dann einfach leiser. Passt. Machen wir 25% hoch, right? Alles. Dann passt es. So. Jetzt muss ich mir sagen, ob das halt, also ist es lauter? Dieses Mic bei 200% so leise, weil ich es in dem Audio-Interface noch leiser gestellt habe. Ihr müsst mir jetzt sagen, ist es noticeably lauter? Ist euch immer noch ein bisschen zu leise? Unverändert bei mir? Wie kann das sein?
Dass er gewonnen hat, ey, meine Fresse.
Ist das hier lauter?
Holy shit. Wer hat die Teams gemacht? Normalerweise wäre auch noch Niki im Gegnerteam, ne?
Ja.
Völlig krank.
Hast du einen Limiter drin? Weiß ich nicht. Wo macht man einen Limiter rein? Also es sind halt so 1 Dezibel oder 2 Dezibel, ne? Ich kann, also wir können auch, okay, wir machen, okay, dann machen wir mal noch mehr rein. Rechtsklick. Filter. Ja, ich habe einen Rauschunterdrücker und ein Rauschgate drin. Machen wir es mal raus und gucken, was passiert. Rausnehmen, gucken, was passiert. Ja, also, weil ich kann es, okay. Wir machen es mal hier lauter. Jetzt müsste es ein bisschen, jetzt müsste ich lauter sein, right? Jetzt habe ich es im Audio-Interface halt. Wahrscheinlich, jetzt müsste es lauter sein. Jetzt ist etwas lauter. Ich meine, ich kann es noch lauter drehen. Wenn ihr es wollt. Also ich kann, ja, jetzt müsste es so lauter sein. Also jetzt müsste es laut sein. So. Ist es jetzt in Relation zu anderen Stream? Bisschen too much, ihr fickt mich alle. Okay. So. Jetzt sind wir langsam zu laut. Jetzt. So. Er ist ein bisschen runtergedreht noch. So ist besser, so ist gut. Okay. Jetzt ist auch in Relation zu anderen Streams gut oder ist es jetzt für... Also, bin ich jetzt immer noch leiser als andere Streams? Wäre geil, wenn man den Vergleich hätte.
Nein, also wir können es halt einfach bannen. Das ist alles, oder nicht? Die werden es einfach bannen.
So, und jetzt rede ich und jetzt müsste er aber auch leise. Also er wird jetzt auch leiser, right?
Ja, das Ding ist, Counterpick Toppen ist nur hier ein Problem. Warte, der Champion.
Ja, okay, wir verzichten auf Meiser.
Nein. Es ist nicht so deep. Mein Counterpick gerade immer noch auch useless. Also wirklich, das hat mir nichts gebracht. Ich hab 60, 100 CS-League gehabt, aber wir haben verloren. Also,
wer ist dein Toplane-Gegner?
Power Weevil. Aber er wird's eh.
Kann einer einladen?
Ich denke, wir bannen eh Gragas und dann bin ich okay mit Timo oder so.
Das ganze alles liegt an meinem PC. Nee, ich meine, ich kann, also die restlichen Programme kann ich auch noch lauter machen, wenn, Okay, warte, wir machen mal, Moment, wir machen einfach mal Spotify, theoretisch, weil Spotify habe ich auch lauter gemacht und ihr sagt mir dann, weil Spotify wird nicht runter reguliert. Durch mein Mikro. So. Jetzt müsst ihr mir sagen, wie es in Relation ist. Mikrofon gegen Musik. Und vorher deutlich besser. Ich glaube, du kannst einfach leiser machen, right? Spotify Musik sehr leise, Musik deutlich leiser. Okay, Musik ist sehr leise im Vergleich dazu. Okay, Moment. Dann mache ich mal Spotify kurz lauter. So, jetzt. Jetzt, ich rede weiter ein bisschen, ne? Ihr sagt mir, ob es immer noch von der Lautstärke so ist. Ist natürlich immer von Song zu Song unterschiedlich, right? Aber... Gut, okay. So, passt. Und jetzt müssen wir halt hier NSS noch, ne? Weil ich sage, NSS mache ich ja sowieso mal ein bisschen, also mein Chrome ist sowieso ein bisschen leiser. Und mein Heimseiter fix das Music basically auf deinen Stream. Das ist crazy. Ich habe mein Gefühl, keine Musik lauter, aber passt, okay.
But just kind of showed once again, putting the pressure on HLE, they feel forced to rush into the fight, and then the approach, this setup, so intelligent from GENG. This is the GENG we've seen for many years in the LCK. For the last few months, we've really been missing.
I mean, overall, this is the GENG that we were missing, you know? I think these team fights were, we already know that GENG is gonna win even before, because the setup was there, and the matchup, the macro was there, so I really like the gameplay from GENG here today.
Remember, both these squads under a lot of pressure after the beginning of round 3, week 10 not going the way that they wanted. I think for Hanwha Life Esports, we're kind of pointing to this compositional issue of like if Chofi gets into the side lane, but throughout the season, they've been able to find ways to force fights and get into that Kanavi lead us into battle kind of mode. Here, it didn't feel like they were able to do that.
I mean, they were getting cut too much, to be fair. I think also Guma getting cut and getting solo kill on the bot lane.
So, jetzt die Frage, wie machen sie es jetzt in Game 2, right? Bekommen wir jetzt ein besseres Ding? Bekommen wir jetzt ein besseres Hanwha? Bekommen wir ein GENG, die weiterhin gut Fight spielen?
Even though Kanavi was strong, it really shuts down his ability to approach. It shuts down the Shen's ability to approach. They had the Ornn as a big frontliner and the control from the Anivia as well. This was just such a good comp for putting the brakes on and slowing down. Because if you look at the mid-game engage potential of HLE, it felt like it was going to be all gas, no brakes from them.
Chovy is shining. like on cam, it looked like Chovy was getting, I don't know, lasered.
I don't know. He was radiating his greatness that we've seen in the past and now maybe attaining.
Wir reinkommen und fragen, warum das Stream so laut ist, aber wenn es im Vergleich zu allen anderen Streams so leise ist, dann sollte ja jetzt fein sein, right? Theoretisch.
Let's find out here in game number 2.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that breakdown of game number 1. It was a bit of a masterclass there from GENG, and something as to echo what they said there on the space that we haven't really been privy to so much this year.
It's interesting because you could say that, I know somebody's like, no, but they played well in round 2. You know, they had pretty good games at EWC, and MSI, obviously a different story, but I think you look at the way that they...
Wir sind einfach in 13. Show, wie Asia. Victor ist noch offen, oder? Victor, Galio, mal schauen, ob sie weiterhin den Galio bannen. War ja jetzt gerade der Bann. Ansonsten haben wir noch Akali Engels potenziell.
Hanwha Life Esports had some holes in their draft from behind and they just couldn't crack the surface.
Haben die da unten eine Kanalwertanzeige? Nein, das ist meine. Das ist meine.
A lot of these high prio picks are also now removed, so it does get more interesting from here, I would argue, because even though that was a very good game of League of Legends, if you love the high-level stuff here at the LCK, it was a little bit of a slower one. A little bit less action than you would expect from these two teams, and I think that will change massively. I think Kanavi will probably be a little bit more unchained moving into Game 2.
Yeah, he was on one death for so much of that game, and that's how you could tell that both of these teams were indeed...
Victor Botlane möchte ich von beiden AD Carries nicht sehen. Tatsächlich. Keinen der beiden AD Carries möchte ich auf Victor Botlane sehen. Ich glaube, das wird nichts.
Just chain running it down over and over again. So definitely not an HLE that we're going to be counting out yet. The thing that's kind of crazy though is that GENG won without right of first selection. So HLE will be able to run it back from exactly the same position. First pick once again chosen. GENG once again on the red side. And we'll see whether they can utilize this first pick.
Kommt der Galioban.
Grab a victory this time. What happens though when the Anivia and the Cassiopeia are now both picked? Rise value through the roof. It's kind of astronomical.
Syndra ist immer noch available gegen den Rise.
Unless GENG has a good plan into the Rise.
I think the ban of the Camille is like now permanent with the Shen gone, the Poppy gone. The Ezreal, I think, still needs to get a look here as they'll ban Chovy's Galio again.
Minus 75% ist so viel lauter als davor.
That this Rise, Orianna, Nocturne, something like that is going to get through.
That's their first pick here, so going for more specific picks towards Chovy in that second rotation. Those lock, not really a factor in this series.
Yeah, both Zeka and Chovy not exactly having the most fun on the champion.
The Orianna gets banned here, so there's some flexibility now left here for GENG to see what is left available. And that Rise pick, certainly a very strong one. Pantheon also still available.
Yeah, Pantheon Rise has been strong in the past.
Exactly, so I'm not trying to say that Pantheon needs to be banned. I'm just saying consider the more ways you can also empower this Rise draft if it does come through.
Sie genau aus dem AOK gebannt, seine Ulti ist visually bugged und manchmal sehen die Spieler sie nicht. Da ist wieder Galioban, Orianna raus, Syndra, High Value.
And now, do they ban the Lucian? Do they ban the Rise? There are so many things, like Vi, still up and available. Nocturne, my god, like they need 4 bans and they've got 1.
Is it just a Lucian ban here, or do they ban the Rise?
Yeah, I like the Lucian ban. Cut your losses.
Hat die Poppy gewonnen? Die Poppy hat gewonnen, ja.
Not gonna first pick Ezreal. That's not his style. The Vi will go over here, but
Vi, aber dann kommt doch der Ezreal, oder nicht?
Through anything like that. We don't know what Zeka's gonna be.
Costume ist cringe, hier ist besser, das ist richtig, ja.
Because this is gonna be a Rise pickup. That's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye.
Certainly could be. We'll see what the answering pick in the jungle for Canyon is, because could just be Pantheon. Rise Pantheon, very powerful. A little bit more ability to impact the side lanes.
Kein Ezreal?
I can.
And you could also take the Ezreal here if you'd like to get it. That way you can round out your bottom lane in this first round.
That's a good point, actually. Pretty safe into the Vi as well. And then save that Pantheon pick potentially for a third or second rotation pick.
Yeah, and the Ezreal would definitely be banned in the next round if they do not snag it here. They might want to answer the Vi though. The Nocturne up and available. There are a lot of things that they can go towards.
If you ban Ezreal here, or if you pick Ezreal here, are you walking into a Caitlyn lane? There's no Bard.
Yeah,
but that's
keine Lux, ja, könnte sein. Ist ein guter Call, actually ein guter Call.
Ezreal so much. He likes to defeat the Ezreals. They'll take the Pantheon that I was suggesting
Solid.
here first.
Hab Canyon Pantheon aber nicht unbedingt sehr gut in Erinnerung.
So much, but we've been calling for it throughout the last few days. And so now, HLE can round out their first array.
Warte, lange für den Gifteten, danke.
Whether it is just going to be top side of the map locked in, or whether they will just slam a bottom lane.
The Gnar, the Ambassador still available as well. Corki, a consideration with the Yunara also flipped through. They could have gone for a Yunara Lulu lane with this Vi. It's got a lot of setup, but instead they opt for
Was spielen wir gegen Corki?
And we'll see if it's going to be a counter pick for Zeka here, or if they just want to lock up the entirety of this bottom lane and get.
Könnt mir einen besser vorstellen für GENG auf 3?
So,
Corki
opts for it. He opts for it here.
Könnt ihr mir die am besser hier vorstellen?
Third spot, and the Ezreal is a
Okay.
easy response, I think.
Yeah, just going to slam that one in. And with the Alistar already represented, there are so many supports that you can play alongside this Ezreal.
Das heißt, Genji pickt auf 4. Die können jetzt Vayne bannen. Vayne. Und dann Olaf würde ich glauben. Oh, willst du Olaf bannen? Weiß ich gar nicht. Und dann für am besser auf 4 schauen.
And a lot of these Ryze answers, like the Annie is almost definitely going to be banned here. And we'll see what else Genji are going to take away.
Are they scared about Zeka's Ahri in this draft?
Oh, that's a good point as well. Maybe they just stick with the A mid laners and just take both of them out of the picture.
I don't think Akali is really what you're looking for here.
Although still A, so it fits. They only have 2 bans. This has kind of been Genji's problem so far.
Vayne.
See what they do decide to take. Talia, I did not expect.
Okay, wenn du Talia bannst, dann musst du aber auch eigentlich Syndra bannen.
Very powerful. Talia just hasn't really been finding that much success in the mid lane right now, and
ja, den Yone Bann, das Ding ist, Rumble ist halt raus und Ornn ist raus. Heißt, welchen AP-Top-Laner spielst du noch damit, ne? Das ist halt die große Frage.
So I am surprised to see that ban from Genji, but they want to play it safe there in the mid lane. Vayne is banned, so we know Zeus is threatening another ban here of the top side blinds that are countered by it.
And I'm trying to work out
Aurora.
top lane matchups.
Ich würde eher Syndra bannen, glaube ich.
Mainly because I see
Ahri.
and I think,
there's the Ahri.
Where's the Sylas?
Bisschen mehr personalized bannen
dann? I don't know whether it is going to be possible. Maybe you could put the Pantheon in support and play Sylas jungle, but maybe that wouldn't be good. Let's see what the final ban is here from HLE before we get into the next pick for GENG.
And you called it out earlier, there's so many different supports that Duro can play with this Ezreal into the Alistar now.
War das raus, Karma ist raus. Leona finde ich nicht so super hier.
And just don't want to deal with that because that's miserable for the quirky Alistar to play into. And now Genji can.
Was wollen wir haben? Nautilus einfach, aber Ezreal Nautilus auch scheiße, ne? Rell ist scheiße. Rakan? Rakan. Nico auch guter Call. Rakan, Nico? Oh.
In this game. But it does make sense.
It does a number to the Alistar.
Alles scheiße wie gestern Prime League. Nein, du warst doch da. Da war es weniger scheiße. Es war ziemlich scheiße.
It also really hurts Zeus' blind top pick.
Weiß ich nicht, ob ich den Braum so feier. Ich weiß gar nicht, wann ich den letzten Braum gesehen habe tatsächlich. Ja, Olaf blind. Es ist das Ding, ne? Du bannst legit Vayne und kannst also gefühlt so Olaf blind pick. Das ist crazy. Antwort ist, könnte jetzt nah werden.
Is it just Annie in this draft? This is not a pick-based comp. Getting access to the Ezreal or the Ryze with Annie sounds so hard in this draft. They have the Vi to set it up or follow up on it, but
the Vi, the Pulverize.
Syndra oder nicht?
There is a lot of layering of CC.
Braum gegen Syndra natürlich einigermaßen okay. Akali.
Will be the choice. Zeka going back to his signature champion here.
I'm not sold on it, and I love the Zahin into the Olaf here.
Yeah, this has been one of the other options, right? It's been Jax or Zahen. They're the 2 choices that players have gone with into this pick. And the Zahen
Mag den Genji Draft.
Here is you just stack up your passive, and then while you're reviving the Ragnarok.
Mag den Genji Draft.
The Braum has so much setup in this draft.
It's insane the value of that champion.
Die müssen halt hart reinspielen, ja, das stimmt.
Basically almost full, I mean, it is nearly a full melee comp of Hanwha Life Esports. Good luck. McDuro can stop almost everything they're trying to do, as well as have a lot of power in lane, as well as have a lot of power at level 1. Help out Zahin.
Vision-Agent Olaf ist okay, ja.
I think in game 1, we weren't sure about Genji's draft. We knew it had high potential, but the execution was going to be really...
Problem ist, also Teamfight ist das Problem, ne?
But they pulled it off. In this draft, I feel like Genji got everything they wanted.
Yeah. And we saw how well they played last time around, where we didn't necessarily feel like the draft was a surefire victory. Did take some finesse to make sure that they played it out correctly. This time around, feels like that Braum was such a checkmate in this draft. But draft only means so much, right? As that is terrifying. Why is Kanavi pointing a gun at me?
Apart.
Okay, let's have a look at these drafts one more time. There's a hand angle. We really like it. Rise and Pantheon together.
Ja, das einzige Ding, was ich mir hier denke, ich habe den Pantheon von Canyon nicht sehr gut im Gedächtnis.
Incredibly powerful. At least the Corki will be able to match the items, match the spikes, and if HLE get off the ground running, things could work out. And let's see whether we can make it to a game 3 with an HLE win as we get under the rift. All right, Hanwha fans are so loud, man. It is crazy.
Yeah, we're on the GENG side.
Yeah, and they are still absolutely deafening. And you can imagine there is certainly a degree of desperation now, especially after seeing this champion select. I think something's going to have to go really right for HLE, the start of this game, to make sure that they're feeling okay moving into this next one. As
Tolle Matchup, kann aber sehr Snowball werden.
As Kane.
Letzter Braunbrick war, glaube ich, letzte Woche beim VfB-Match. Boah, da bin ich auch wieder... Es ist alles ein...
Gumayushi play this Corki in a really long time.
That's a flash very early from Kane.
Zahin's not very good at the early part of the laning phase. Yeah. Zeus didn't even use his ghost.
Ooh, not going to find any of those buttons as GENG going to be able to give a...
So ein Film, der in Speedrun an mir vorbei läuft, die ganzen Drafts.
Cooldown just for a little bit, but Duro going to be spotted by that one.
Und trotzdem habe ich... Ich bin so ein Fanboy. Ich habe einen... Weil ich weiß genau, dass jemand mal gesagt hat, Inspired ist nicht kreativ. Und da habe ich einen Play im Kopf, wo er hat Y gespielt und er hat dann Level 6 gehittet. Und statt wie jeder andere Jungler für Top-Lane-Crap zu gehen, ist er gebased, ist Bot-Lane gerannt, durch Lane gegangen, mit Level 6 hat das Game gewonnen damit. Naja, ist ja egal.
Zeus is going to shove this wave in. Kane going to be happily underneath the
Ist ja egal.
At least that's going to help out. But Zeus behind the turret already, as he does get knocked up, throws down a ward. And this is going to be a really nice back angle for the Olaf.
Ist besser Jungler im Westen, ja, nach mir, oder?
For free. Yep. No way for the Pantheon the path down to the bottom lane to impact this. Meanwhile, the Vi is topside. Zeka gotta be so careful in this early laning phase. Chovy doesn't have TP, but he is gonna
Sag bitte nicht Skimont. Dann ist es ein Self-Expose als Loelo.
You're in serious trouble.
Obwohl Skimont auch gut ist. Skimont ist zweitbester Jungler am Westen.
Minimizing the damage taken until he hits level 6. But we talked about all the different reasons why the comp is good in team fights, but the laning phase here is another place where HLE just really don't have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Outside of the Olaf, but that's temporary.
And now we do have the Pantheon taking
Blabber auf die 1, ja, oder?
Bottom side of the map, so bottom side control will retain here for GENG. Keen does have to be careful.
Zeus is trying to send this wave back away from Keen so that it gets set up for a gank, but it's just not happening.
Oh, Gumayushi. He loses this one.
Ne, Diskussion schon, habe ich wahrscheinlich verdrängt.
Corki having a good year on this champion so far, but 0-1 for Zeka on the Akali is kind of crazy. Zeus not being able to pick up a win on the Olaf either, as Delight's also tried his hand at this cow a couple of times and hasn't quite figured it out. So, kind of interesting that we do see such low win rates for HLE on the...
Warum pickt niemand Kha'Zix aktuell? Wurde als Pick gespielt gegen Sinzao und gegen Nocturne. Gegen Nocturne können sie wahrscheinlich immer noch picken. Niemand blindet Kha'Zix gefühlt, Sinzao gefühlt at the moment. Ja, kein Grasp ist interessant.
They are starting to turn this lane around a little bit here.
How did Duro miss everything there with that Winter's Bite? That was very impressive. There are a lot of things that he could have hit, but does not manage to do so. Chovy running around here in this mid lane. Zeka is going to go into the fog of war for a moment. Keen almost through that flash cooldown, so might be out of the woods momentarily. But there's a Shuriken backflip for Zeka. Finds a good trade onto Chovy.
Chovy needs to be very wary of that level 6 timing.
Yeah.
That potion is being chugged through for both of these players right now. Zeka maintains health advantage.
Dies ist sie für die Akali später, also Braun Passive zusammen sein.
Ultimate, and Chovy will find himself in the death chamber. They're going to take the time to back at the same time. That's just a wave advantage here for Chovy in the farm. But Zeka's happy.
Ja, AP Jungle mal schauen. Die buffen auch die Armor und die MR-Ratio auf dem Jungle Pad, ist ganz interessant eigentlich. Nicht nur die AP-Ratio.
But it won't be there just yet. Just have a couple of rocks in the inventory. As now Gumayushi, Delight, able to get control of this wave and are pushing back for the moment. You have to be a little bit careful if the winter's buying.
Schwieriges Akali-Game. Also der Braum macht es auf jeden Fall schwer, würde ich behaupten.
Is a scary prospect. Still Hype blocks the Mystic shot there. Don't know whether he necessarily wanted to, but it is going to be Ruler able to lock down these minions. GENG keep the CS completely even.
And this call for Ruler, tier stacking, you know, they're just sitting back and going through
Nächste Woche ist Patch.
with the advantage they have already in lane, just saying, we're on the way to winning more. It's up to you. Ball's in your court, Hanwha. What kind of play are you going to make?
35 Timer sehen ihm nicht den Drake.
Canyon has a potential opportunity. He's got flash and stun at the ready. Heal already out for Delight to make sure they can get away from this. And this ward will be cleared by Canyon.
Well, Chovy wanted to put Zeka in prison there. Isn't going to be able to do so.
Navi, level 6.
Yeah, level 6 available here for Zeka as well. So can unleash that.
Ist er tot?
Execution. There's the Vaultbreaker flash.
Definitiv, wenn sie so spielen, Wellplayed.
On top of the rise.
Wow.
He flashes.
Holy fuck, holy fuck.
To the turret as he goes into the shroud, but Chovy had already ran away. That ghost getting all the value. We still don't have a first blood.
Zeka was so close to actually triggering that second turret shot, and there would have been no reprieve. But he is able to get over the wall without flashing there, so has flash advantage over Chovy now. We'll be able to rush back to lane here, but he is 20 CS down, and a whole wave is going by the wayside with Chovy's great escape there into the Raptor pit. So much committed there. A flash for Kanavi on the extension of the Q does land, but they don't have the burst necessary to kill the Rise, and Chovy is just laughing all the way to the bank. He generates such a huge lead. Despite being flashless here, I think Kanavi is going to have to make a second pass to make this worth it.
Yeah, and so now he doesn't have his Summoner spell. Like you say, certainly going to be something that HLE could capitalize on, but it's not going to be a Vaultbreaker flash that can actually take him down unless they time it very specifically. And so I think that Chovy should be a lot safer this time around, even without that flash up and available, unless Delight comes in with a Pulverized Splash or something like that to try and take him down. Catalyst, who we're talking about, is also going to be completed here as Canyon will find this Control Ward as he looks to try and start up this Dragon.
Drake ist relativ spät, wenn wir jetzt auf Grubtime achten.
Some farm towards Chovy here, and Canyon starts the Dragon. So, Olaf moving down towards the bottom side. Canyon spotted here by the Scryer's Bloom.
Lane swapping top. And they are going to try to make a fight happen here on this Dragon, but I just don't
Also können nicht wirklich fighten, oder? Duro ist auch so knapp vor der B6. Und Kanavi hat kein Flash, kein Ult, warte mal. Oh shit, Canyon.
Canyon going to be taken down incredibly low to start this one off. Canyon, he flashes out of the way, but he's still going to go down.
Ach du Scheiße.
Delight will be taken, and Ruler flashes, but there's the flash to follow. All of GENG.
Ach du Scheiße.
And the Dragon is even taken by Life Esports. That's a massacre, and they're now in.
Ach du Scheiße.
The Olaf flank play worked out. The lane swap to Guma top. I mean, sure, he's not involved in the play, but he's still far.
Ja, wie machen wir das mit dem Olaf?
Into the Zahin, and this was a collapse onto Canyon. They wanted to burst him down to get the Drake, but they got so much more. Now we're going to see Delight with his unsealed TP.
Ach du Scheiße. Der Olaf hat seinen Hexbait fertig.
He's safe. So Zeus here, he goes notably onto Canyon, not Ruler, knowing that Ruler has the ability to buy space here, but the follow-up from Delight gets the double knock-up. Zeka's the one who deletes Canyon. Delight walks back, ends up dying here, but it does not matter. They ended up picking up 3 kills plus Dragon on the play, and Chovy can just watch from the mid lane and do nothing else. He's still up 20 CS in this game, but the lead has shrunk with Zeka picking up that kill.
Yeah, and the fact that Chovy didn't actually
Ocean einfach zu stark. Ich glaube, die haben einfach keine Tools gegen den Olaf so früh. Plus Canyon war so low HP. Also Canyon kommt da nicht weg, ne? Oder, okay, true. Aber vom Ocean Drake ist low, das heißt, selbst mit dem E-Move-Speed hat es nichts gebracht.
HLE, they had to use the Ghost, the Flash, Zeka's Flash. Also there for the follow-on to Canyon, but I think they're very happy.
Und ich glaube, Ezreal plus Panther werden nie genug Damage haben für den Olaf. Die brauchen definitiv Rise DPS später. Brauchen definitiv Rise dazu. Potenziell auch Zahin. Der sie halt hochstackt dann nehmen.
So Zeka now, with that extra kill and assist like you were talking about, that is going to be enough to even out just the CS money, as the plate money is then equalized. So Zeus does see the ward, but isn't actually able to clear it in time, as Kane will just walk away from this wave, probably looking for his first back, as, yeah, a Ruby Crystal probably not going to be enough in face of that Hex Plate.
Guma here, 1v2, as we see a wraparound from Zeka and Delight. They are pinging.
Yeah, this angle is very scary.
Yeah, they just put deep wards and they're not going to actually go.
Ja, Toplane ist ein Problem.
A lot of pings from Genji there.
Weil es ist auch Fights komplett anders natürlich. Also 1v1
as they have a lot of vision all across the map now, Hanwha Life. Like, they have a small gold lead here, but look at all the wards top side, the wards they put deep into the jungle of Genji. They kind of have map hacks right now for this game state here. So really effective use of that control here by Zeka and Delight. I actually really like how they put this one together. Delight's still got 2 control wards in his inventory after this back as well.
Kayn and Zeus fighting once again. As Kayn not going to have to flash away from the Olaf this time around. Not quite at the Trinity Force just yet, but he's getting closer. As we can see.
Ruler's isolated here, and Kanavi's on the bottom side of the map with Flash.
Fucking Canyon ist so useless, man.
Rushing over. Looks like they're not actually going to be able to get to him before the Braum rejoins, but this means Canyon is vulnerable, although he also will escape. So does Kanavi for a 3rd target here.
Oh.
So,
Chovy in a really awkward spot, but the Volt misses as Chovy walks in a weird way. And so Kanavi not going to be able to lock.
Kann es anders? Nee, das wurde einfach nur...
So they realize just how much danger they might have.
Das ist jetzt weg vom Hauptbahnhof und irgendwo anders, oder nicht?
With the skin of their teeth there, as Chovy now going to have to walk away from Kanavi
again.
He's got his flashback. I'm kind of shocked that HLE didn't try to make a play onto Ruler there without Braum there. I guess they didn't necessarily know exactly how close Braum was, but I think there was a window of time there where they could have tried to make something happen onto Ruler, or at least force him to walk away from turret and deny him some harm. But instead, they kind of get the whole wraparound. They get all that vision control back in the bottom side of the map.
Das sagt mir vorhin schon, ja genau. Das ist nicht mehr das am Hauptbahnhof jetzt.
Now it's back up again, so they have full information on the bottom side of the map, as well as top side here, where this Rift Herald is spawning in 3 minutes. So it's a ways away from that, but they have a lot of information.
Yeah, it's going to be the Drake that should be the next fight here between both of our squads. And GENG, I think, probably going to have to play this one a little bit more carefully this time around, especially with Unbreakable Will on Delight. He can actually be a real frontline in this one, as Duro going to slow down Delight.
Es ist näher am Hauptbahnhof sogar. Oh.
In the Unbreakable there, blocking a fair bit of damage as he has to flash away.
Wow. Kanavi, du bist ein Psycho.
Ruler coming on over. He's going to look to try and slow down Kanavi here as the stun does come down.
Kanavi, du bist ein Animal. Kanavi, du bist so reported. Ey, das ist gestört. Alter. Kanavi ist so ein Animal. Das ist so krank.
He gets nothing out of this. Nothing at all.
Das ist so krank.
To Duro there in the end, it does not get him either. He escapes with, it's got to be like sub 15 health there on the bottom side of the map.
Man, that must have been so frustrating.
What a backfire here.
Yeah.
7 HP, I'm told, so half of what I thought. So initially, he comes over here.
Ist so, wirklich, dieser Typ, ist so lustig. Oh mein Gott.
Extension here, but then doesn't ult because he wants to maybe get something more, and then Duro
ist so lustig.
Stand beside. And then ults Kanavi, Ruler does the damage here, and then he flashes, or rather, Arcane shifts the knock-up there from Delight.
Instant revenge denied.
No, I don't think, yeah, denied indeed. And Guma couldn't get the kill there onto Duro, so they just get nothing. GENG get a gold lead, they get control over the left side of this Dragon Pit, and now Kanavi is flashless.
There are a lot of ultimates available here for HLE, though. No Ragnarok, I don't think, for Zeus for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what that was about. As Kanavi does pull out this dragon.
He's going to roll quest TP top, and he's not going to be involved in this play. Keen already TP'd as well, so not going to be any top laners here, but attempted bit of a steal away here from Ruler isn't going to succeed, but at least it'll annoy Zeka.
Yep, they do spot out that this dragon was taken, and it will be a Cloud Soul this game as well. So super fast cow available.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about that.
Yep, some Usain beef on
like that one.
Yeah, it's a new one. I was trying it out. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Keen, up here in this top lane, I'm very intrigued as to why the Ragnarok did have to be used. As now Chovy could be in trouble.
What?
Execution from Zeka. The flash, he just waits for it.
Wow.
As there's the solo kill from the Zeka Akali. Can GENG find an angle, though, in response? And it looks like HLE will not give it to them.
Wer ist TP von Zeca?
Hex Flash here for Delight to get back over the wall, but I don't think they're going to be able to chase down or find anything here. Zeus has his ult back, but they're just going to have to be happy with the kill on the rise in the bottom lane. Gold dead even again in this game, but HLE, with that bottom side play here, now have double Dragon towards a Cloud Soul. From Zeca's perspective, he actually gets hit by that Q here in Shroud. Comes in, flips back
So viel Damage.
Waits for the flash for the perfect execution. Flashes just to be safe here and make sure he doesn't pick up an extra turret. You don't think he necessarily needed to do that, but better safe than sorry.
TP von Zeca. Immer noch ab. Kein TP bei Chovy. Da kommt der TP von Zeca. Oh, die gehen dafür, oder?
Yeah, looking to rotate over.
Nee, okay.
Zeca's teleported in. Doesn't have the ulti up just yet, but it looks like this Rift Herald is going over to HLE, and they have a monopoly. Every single
objective.
neutral objective
Including
has gone their way.
Grubs. That's a pretty large set of advantages here. GENG have been able to win some scraps. They had a defensive play there on the bottom side, which was a disaster, which is why Ruler is the lead, the only lead that GENG have, really. 1,300 gold, the advantage there.
Is Chovy dead again? Well, Realm Warp is not going to
No
do something
CC on this
Zeca
Akali.
and yeah, deny, so he will be fine.
He doesn't have Realm Warp now, but I don't think he really cares with no objectives up for a while. So just greeted a little bit here and was able to utilize that ultimate to get away with it. Ruler is getting closer and closer to 2 items here, very scary. Has that coal cashed in. His tier is stacked up to 300 pretty much. And so we're looking at, as GENG here, you're kind of like, all right, we're about to start being relevant where we can actually control team fights, we can control space, we can poke with this Ezreal. But right now, HLE have been first to objective, and GENG have been unable to respond just because their comp isn't truly online. There is Manamune finished here for Ruler, about to transform.
Yeah, big deal item spike to come on through here as Gumyushi does hit level 11. He's getting closer, but isn't quite there towards the Muramana himself. As the tier actually requires 100 stacks plus in order for that one to be finished.
Ein Flash bei Chovy. Der muss unbedingt die Wave bekommen. Oh, er ist tot.
Ezreal. This Rise, though, is going to be in a little bit of trouble. The Shuriken backflip going to come on through, and he is very...
Spielen sie gut, ne? Die Side and Pressure. Und die haben natürlich auch keinen Crossmap ab. Command Turret, ja, aber sie haben keinen Crossmap auf Top offen.
In exchange, by the way, first turret of the game, so this lead gets bigger.
Yeah, that's something. And GENG retain a gold lead, right?
Sein ist ziemlich geil hier. Geht Zeus für ein All-In.
That turret just then. Zeus is going to get knocked up. There's the Ragnarok, is now the ulti to buy some time, get those stacks back, and Kane will be able to find it now.
Also,
In as Duro says no to Zeus, and Delight says no to Duro. So Zeus
I mean, ist die Frage, ne? Jetzt ist natürlich die Pässe von Keen down, wenn wir jetzt drüber nachdenken, jetzt ist die Pässe von Keen down für den Drake-Fight. So, dafür aber vielleicht von Zeus. Ich glaube, wenn dieser Trade nur Pässe für Ulti bei Zeus ist, ist es natürlich super worth it.
But GENG are starting to really win a lot of map control right now, despite the fact that Chovy died. What they got in exchange was so much more valuable. They got that mid turret for Ruler, they got so much damage done on this top turret, got the summoner out of Zeus, got his ult out as well, which I feel like is a pretty good trade for the Zahin right now. And just like that, you know, HLE, sure, they have the gold lead, they got that extra time with the pushing Akali. This comp is scaling, and it's soon ready to fight here for this next dragon, which would be the first dragon of the game for GENG if they could turn the tides here.
Yeah, I think they almost have to be able to take this next Drake. Duro moves down a control ward and discovers a bunch of bad guys. A little bit of a jump scare there, but the
will
be fine.
This time, the Pantheon is staying with Chovy. He's gonna prevent any sort of...
HLE sieht stark aus, ja, für den Fight hier auf jeden Fall.
He tries to farm this one out right now, even, I think, took some of the Krugs from Canyon there, if I look on the minimap was correct. And we're heading to this next Dragon Atlas. I mean, 15 seconds to spawn. Right now, HLE don't really have prio for it.
It is GENG with a fair bit of vision, but not that much around the pit itself. Rift Herald does come on through. The poke is landing.
Just going to use the Herald for prio, it looks like here. This turret will go down, and there's a potential dive angle, actually, when it does.
There definitely is. Look at Zeca trying to find the Shuriken backflip. Doesn't land it, though. Zeus also from the other angle. These Void Mites just spew out of the Rift Herald as they do manage to take down that turret. That will then give them an inside track towards Soul Point.
Die geben Tritt, ne? Wie viele Items wollen sie?
Much of a choice. Zeka's going to come up here to try to defend this turret, and he also has TP if there was going to be a big fight for GENG, and GENG are trying to maybe make a play topside to augment this push, but they don't really need to. Chovy had his Realm Warp, he was pushing up there, but they just let Keen take the turret, so it's a turret exchange for Soul Point here. And GENG have so much money they've picked up on this Ezreal, right? The Akali is significantly ahead, but isn't necessarily going to have the same consistent damage output as the Ryze when the Ryze gets...
Was, wir wollen 3 Items auf Ezreal, 3,5? Okay, geht Chovy Rocket Bait oder geht der für Actualizer mit Damage Mann? Ich hoffe, er geht Actualizer.
It could be right now for Zeus as he hides and waits for Ruler.
Yeah, Ruler is going to have to Arcane Shift away. Does that back?
Kein Flash bei Zeus. Wow. Dass er den Flash auch so bekommt, ist krank. Hat sich keiner von der Top-Lane wegbewegt? Nein. Gott sei Dank.
Very scary. I think that might have wanted to be on the list of scariest champions I wouldn't want to run into in the brush.
Kein Zeus Ulti aber jetzt. Also momentan der Fightspot nicht so bad.
Forward to that one on LCK feud.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, imagine Dagon somewhere just writing that down. As Keen going to take a 5-point strike here, looking to try and defend this outer turret, but Zeka just getting more and more money, killing spree on the Akali. And I do think that GENG are kind of okay with like Ruler getting ahead and like this control that they've kind of got, but Zeka's Akali can warp games, and I am very frightened with the state that he is in for GENG's chances moving forward here in this game, because I don't think anyone is safe on the Rift.
I just didn't think this comp was going to get off the ground the way that it has, right? The fact that Chovy was hard focused down by Kanavi and Zeka, and there was no reprieve, there was no answer from Canyon.
Moment der Wahrheit, was kommt als drittes eine bei... Aha. Ich sehe einen Braum, der covert. Wir müssen auf Braum turn eigentlich fast. Ja. Guter Cover von Duro. Also ich Kanavi wirklich, er ist hilarious, dieser Typ. Weil es funktioniert halt, ne? Das ist ja das, es funktioniert halt, es ist so lustig. Wie zur Hölle ist Kanavi tot? Das war ein Free Nash.
That's actually kind of a big deal. It was a big deal, in fact. And like you were saying, Ruler was surfing around the edge of that fight. He was fishing because he knew that with the time bought from the Zahen ultimate there, Zeka? I don't know. I don't know, Ruler.
Wow.
Zeka's gonna get
Ist das ein Aimbot?
Okay, do we have another Arcane Shift? The answer is no. If that backflip had a hit, Ruler was dead.
He had barrier and he was like ready to press it, but yeah, I don't know. Into this 2-item with tier 3 Sork Pen boots, if he was going to survive through all of that. As Duro just steps a little bit too far forward here, a lot is used to kill him, and Keen gets the Giga ult in this teamfight.
Keen hat echt noch nicht so viel Damage, ne? Also da fehlt auf jeden Fall Level 16 Armor Pen und dann noch, ich weiß gar nicht, ob man 2 Seiten fertig hatte. Kanavi ist der mit dem EQ Java-Zitat, ja, genau.
Predicting where he'd be, because that's where his teammate was, where he was obviously going to land on. So good play there from Ruler to picking up the kill to just maintain that.
Bekommen Level 16 Keen plus 2 Items. 2 Items aber auch bei Zeus. Haben die genug Damage? Ja, Chovy geht Actualizer. Er wird aber nicht fertig haben, oder? Und auch nicht Level 16 haben. Ich weiß nicht, ob sie genug Damage für Zeus haben.
But does need to be careful because this Ezreal is still very susceptible to the Akali. And Zeka now moves to 3-0 and 3. Zeus going to get pushed away momentarily here by Keen. Should be alright.
The next dragon.
Ja, Kanavi hat quasi gesagt, der einzige richtige Weg, ihn zu spielen, ist mit Java und EQ nach vorne.
In this game, like,
und nicht raus.
It's a 3-stack here for HLE. And they got the first dragon fairly early. We're looking at a 25-minute.
Ist nicht Wort für Wort, aber ja.
And if they can get prio for it, they've got all the tools, right? Everyone has a flash. Ruler does not have flash, notably, to potentially team fight to deny this. So GENG are going to have to make tough decisions here. You know, they don't have mid prio. Are they just going to simply...
Ja, Rohr ist voll. Maybe noch Level 16 klatschbar, aber er kriegt keine Wave mehr. Kein Level 16 bei Keen, kein Level 16 bei Chovy ist richtig horrible. Die sollten eigentlich beide noch irgendwie versuchen, Level 16 zu edgen. Das wäre so wichtig.
Really tough macro call to make, and none of the choices are particularly good. But trying to fight when you're this far behind this Akali into prio that you...
Und kein zweites Item bei Keen noch. Oh, weil der muss die Wave Botlane nehmen, basen und dann TPen eigentlich.
Just Braum things, he will be fine.
they're not playing for Dragon. They're playing for a pick pre-Dragon here with this side angle for Zeka that he's on. But I think GENG are pretty aware of where he is right now.
Ja, Keen jetzt Base Level 16 hat 2 Items. Muss rein tippen. Chovy noch nicht Level 16. Auch richtig viel Damage, der fehlt.
Stridebreaker at the ready and does have that big shield as well. Ruler's flashback.
Kann man von oben Zeka-Position.
They want to let this Drake go over to HLE. It's Gumiushi with the blast code.
Wow, okay. Digga, er ist zu funny. Ich glaube, sie gewinnen den Fight. Oder gewinnen sie den Fight? Keen bekommt seinen Passive ab. Ja, sie gewinnen den Fight.
Canyon just ults away. And yeah, not going to be a quadra for the Zeka here, but they'll take a soul. And I think that is just guaranteed 3 games.
That looks like it to me, Atlas. And man, did Ruler play it well. I mean, what else could he have done? His flash comes up right before the fight. And he gets pounced on by Kanavi. Kanavi turns off this Drake so quick.
I mean, es war ein harter Snap-Engage.
From the ult there to buy space.
Sie können nichts gegen den Olaf machen.
Pops his barrier, but is burst down. And then here it looks like maybe the Zahin could take over, but then
hilarious.
Up to come through from Delight to make sure this fight is cleaned. Watch Zeka, he was waiting the whole time. He goes in the same time as Kanavi does onto Ruler. They are pinging him to death. It goes down. There was just nothing Ruler could do there. That cross was too difficult to deal with, and GENG couldn't just sit back and wait, because otherwise it's just so... And as you've been saying, you can hear how loud these Hanwha fans are tonight.
Zeka 6-0-4 on the Akali. And now, nice pulverize. Canyon gonna get delivered.
Kann nicht gewinnen, oder?
Zeka finds
ja.
cease and desist under Chovy.
Holy fuck. Die Cloud Soul.
Just gets swarmed by Hanwha Esports. And I think
GG.
very swiftly gonna be getting to that 3rd game.
One of the fastest games
Banger.
that we've seen in the Legend group this season. 27 minutes and they are knocking on the door. They get Cloud Soul, they group as 5 and they run GENG off the map.
Oh
this
my
is the
goodness.
kind of 6-game night that I'm here for, Atlas.
Absolutely, the first one an absolute joy, and this one is a pleasure as HLE remind GENG who just stole their
Geil.
MSI crown.
Game 3 gleich. Schauen wir kurz hier rein.
Ich hab ja nichts, also ich bin einfach...
So, jetzt, wenn ihr jetzt reingehen könnt, ist weg. Wenn ihr jetzt reingehen könnt, gucken könnt. Ich werde Tristana Sloan hier.
Mit Cleanse ready wahrscheinlich.
Was?
Bin gefiert? Nein, ja, ist nicht schlecht.
Hast du keine Reibung? Ich muss Bot gehen, ich kann den Tunnel nicht spielen.
Die Turrets machen ja gar nichts. What the fuck?
Für die Sticks, bitte, für die Sticks. Ich brauch Backshield. Ja, noch? Okay, gut.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, ich muss basen, ich muss drin mehr halten. Pusht einfach dritte, bitte, bitte pusht. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo Kastelin ist, aber ihr seid zu dritt. Kastelin ist Bots. Pusht Mitte den Turm und dann geht ihr raus, okay?
Boah, ich hab Tomatra getötet, das gibt mir schon mal alles.
Sollen viel mehr so spielen. Wir müssen einfach, wenn wir Überzahl haben können, diven. Am besten auf SW-Seite, weil ich werde
den Turm noch mitnehmen, ja?
drin mit dem Top Tier 3 gleich.
Also ich sag ehrlich, ich bin irgendwie komplett useless. Ich mache wirklich wenig Schaden.
Geht Turnerberg noch mit drauf hin, lauft rechte Seite raus oder einfach zum Turm recht auch.
Turm.
Oh.
Okay, gut, wir haben deren Nash beantwortet, würde ich sagen. Brücke,
was war mein nächstes Item jetzt?
Du kannst diese Runde einfach direkt für Defgate gehen, machen wir direkt Defgate.
Damit kann ich so gut spielen. Ah, das meinst du, okay.
Ah, 5000 ausgesenkt, der macht kein Damage.
Kassadin ist schon Level 16, glaube ich, ne?
Ja, das Game ist rough, aber wir müssen halt fighten.
Ach, Keeper auf Kassadin.
Ja, ich hab jetzt Eisbaum.
Blue war weg oder hast du genommen? Ne, war weg, ne?
Ist alles weg, Topside, alles weg. Ich kann gucken, was von den Camps übrig bleibt, aber mehr nicht. Ist halt, eigentlich müsst ihr mir so das spielen, ich muss drinnen einfach halten. Das ist eigentlich der beste Play, den wir haben.
Viertel geht Richtung Baron.
Ich bin tot, Kassen ist auch,
ja. Ja, das Problem bitte.
Ja, ihr müsst top gehen, das nehmen wir unser Nexus.
Ja, okay, raus. Also, ja. Ich habe nicht mal das Gefühl, dass wir 4 gegen 4 stärker sind, das ist das Ding.
Du musst dann was forcen gehen, so leicht.
Wir sind jetzt hier.
Ja, aber ich kann nichts forcen. Ich bin nicht stark. Ich bin wirklich nicht stark gerade. Ich kann nach vorne laufen und sterben, ich kann nichts forcen.
Das Game ist nicht winnable.
Iceman Gauntlet plus Manamil meinst du, oder? Oh ja, falls ihr den.
Kommt nichts mehr.
Nein, ist doch gut, hä? Nein, das ist noch winnable. Fightet den einfach. Jarvan unter rauf. Wenn wir einfach reinfahren und sich abschreiben, ist noch wunderbar. Nee. Ja, gut, try, Jard. Wenn du jetzt raus kannst, also versuch einfach zu überleben. Vielleicht kannst du nicht mehr so weit ihr könnt.
Wow, die Morgana Ulti Range.
Oder? Geiler Snipe, weitermachen. Slowed ihn, gut. Hold Forcen, gut.
Ach, ist Level 17, what the hell?
Da Lizard?
Ich hab nix.
Ja, ich hab jetzt mein Frozen Heart.
Hat er noch Ult, der Fiddle?
Nee, der hat drüber geholt,
Die sind hier gerade.
Wir sollten die fighten.
Ja.
Noch da sind, aber sind schon draußen.
Sind die schon weg alle?
Oh ja. Ich auch noch Qs?
Kleiner Top Wave.
Bossler Camps sind auch gone, I guess.
Ich hab gleich Muramana ready. Das ist glaube ich nochmal ein Spike, den wir arbeiten können. Wir haben halt sehr, sehr guten CC-Chain, ne? Also wenn wir irgendwie Lux Cube, Morgana Cube treffen, können wir einen Target touchen und sehr gut bursten. Wir outrangen die ganz gut.
100%. Wir sollten mal reinlaufen in den Jungle, zu viert. Tun wir gerade noch kein...
Nicht da gerade? Ich bin noch nicht
ja,
da.
nicht Javan, nicht Javan.
Okay.
Tun wir macht aber Drake.
Aber der hat den in 3 Sekunden gemacht. Ich bin jetzt da. Wollen wir auf Mitte fighten, oder?
Ja, ich glaube nicht, dass wir die Zeit lang gewinnen können. Und Kassian uns Geld uns auch.
Aber das kommt doch gleich wieder Fiddlesticks reingeultet.
Das ist ein Problem.
Ja, das steht hier.
Ich habe keine gute Antwort leider. Wenn du nicht stark bist, dann müssen wir halt irgendwie fighten. Weil ich kann es halt dann auch nicht halten gegen die beiden. Die diven mich halt. Oder er sagt, wir scheißen auf Nash und rotieren auf Kassian rauf. Und traden einen Sideliner für Nash.
Kannst du probieren, wenn wir den killen? Er hat halt nur Liebe. 16 Liebe.
Ja, geht raus. Die machen wahrscheinlich gerade Nash.
Du hast CP, ne?
Nash ist glaube ich schon tot.
Ja, danke für den 9.
Ja, versuchst du es den oder so. Ich glaube, es ist ziemlich sicher, dass sie drauf sind.
Ja, das Game ist available für die.
Ja, sind erst gerade gestartet. Da laufen wir zum Nash.
Ja, ich lauf.
Ich TP auch gleich hin, wenn die wirklich nicht abbrechen. Ich glaube, die auch gebrochen.
Ja, die brechen ab, die brechen ab. Okay, Cluster bei mir. Aber ich glaube, wir jetzt Midwave pushen. Ich komme zu dir hier. Pushen jetzt eine Midwave und dann... Machen die schnell, ne? Der Cluster ist schon saustark, ne? Aber ist, glaube ich, ein guter Fight hier.
Ich glaube, realistisch gesehen musst du gleich Topline in der helfen zu verteidigen, aber ja. Wenn du was kriegen kannst, gut.
Ich
hab richtig Damage gemacht.
Ja, geil. Mehr habt ihr nicht. Ich glaube, die hätten gleich Topline auch.
GG.
Bill keine Ult, Leona keine Ult, Tristana keine Ult. Ich hab 20. Ich glaube, die gehen einfach durch, ja?
Ich glaube, die enden, wenn ich nicht irgendwie hinter die Wave komme. Ich weiß aber nicht wie. Vielleicht Attack Speed durch drin, weil er nicht den Turm mitnehmen kann, so gut.
Ich glaube, Ende machen die nicht.
Ich versuche legit zu Attack Speed slowen und rauszukommen. Dass er nicht pushen kann. Das ist alles, was ich tun kann.
Ja.
Ich bin jetzt da, respawnen. Ich glaube, hier irgendwas versuchen. Das ist wahrscheinlich die beste Chance, ne?
Ja. Ich habe einen Slow, ist alles. Mein Kasten ist sehr geslowt. Ist all I have. Hinter die DPen, aber ich glaube nicht, dass was bringt. Noch am Fighten?
Ja, wir flippen es ja einfach die Rennen raus.
Nasus Ulti hat damals nur die HP gegeben, ne?
Also ich habe gar keine Idee, bin ich ehrlich. Also wir können halt nicht auf die Collapse, weil der Fiddle einfach immer irgendwo wartet und ultet.
Die hat weder die Q-Cooldown halbiert noch Range gegeben, oder? AOE Damage, ja genau. Also, oder gibt die auch schon Auto-Attack Range?
Dann müssen wir einfach so annehmen, wie wir können.
E-Range plus 100? E-Range oder Q?
Über die Wand hier.
Was ist eine E? Also, oder meinst du, der Zirkel wird dann größer?
So, das nicht hier, aber wir können nicht fighten.
What the fuck?
Rein City und da du so Richtung Botside, dass wir so hier versuchen kurz zu catchen.
Kannst weiterwerfen.
Ich bin ein bisschen verzweifelt, ne?
Das ist insane Use sein, ja.
4B, wenn jemand kommt in 3 Sekunden oder so. Right. B.
Die gehen, glaube ich, Nash gerade.
Dann, wir droppen Nash.
Steal ihn einfach.
Mach das. Versuch den zu stealen. Versuch. Immer bufft der Superminions nicht, ne? Das ist auf der Habenseite. Oh, den abgebogen. Der ist Half-HP. Ich habe keinen Champs gesehen.
Ne, ich auch nicht, aber ich glaube, die waren dran.
Ich glaube, es hat bei Champs nicht gespottet.
Will man da hin ulten?
Ja, versuch auch noch zu stealen, schon. Schade.
Boah, war das knapp.
Los. Gut, one last stand.
Ja, ich muss nochmal Base machen, dann Abfahrt.
Die haben 2 Clans eigentlich USS, ne? Deswegen aufpassen auf von Morgana bei den Vasili. Einfach mal fischen gehen gleich, aber die können das quasi cleansen. Könnt ihr über die Wand hier rüber worden, dass wir Philistics rein unten sehen würden? Ja, gut über die Wände zu worden. Wir buffen Botlane gleich einfach nur. Wir machen die nicht. Mit gar kein Engage, ne?
Ja, also engagen kann ich, aber...
Kannst du Top-Link farmen gehen? Trimax, dass du die Wave tötest, wenn du kannst?
Ja.
Ich versuche einfach nur... Ich bin noch hier vielleicht.
Ich fuck die One-Shot in den Turret.
Vielleicht ist die Rote. Weiter. Könnt ihr Philistics? Okay.
Ich sage, diese Influencer-Turniere, die machen nur genau so lang Spaß, bis du verlierst.
Der
Keine
einfach
Chance.
Ja, du düst.
Keine Chance. Oh, Ezreal war komplett useless irgendwie das Game, weiß ich nicht.
Ich war auch useless.
Der Pick war GG.
Ach,
das ist so unfassbar nutzlos angefühlt hat, der Champion.
Schade, Team.
Ich hab eigentlich nichts anderes gemacht als letztes Game und auf dieses Game war ich auf einmal 4 Level hinter jedem.
Ich glaube, der einzige Play, den wir haben im Early Game, ist Botlane durchdiven, wenn Leona so roamt. Das ist, glaube ich, die einzige Option, die ihr habt, ne?
Vielleicht, ja.
Als Runde mehr wird Toplane so viel machen.
Aber ich glaube, also selbst, ich sag dir, wenn ich 5000 Gold mehr habe, ich carry das Game trotzdem nicht. Also ich sehe nicht, wie ich das Game carry.
Na. Wenn Botlane Turrets fallen und wir was machen können auf der Map und nicht nur, weil wir sind immer nur mit Gold hinterhergelaufen, also hinter den Champions. Aber ja, drunter mehr safe, rough so oder so, das stimmt.
Ach du
Leitest uns eine Runde Flash ein? Niemals. Es wird hier keine Videogames geben.
Ja, mich
niemals.
Stark gefühlt zu keinem Zeitpunkt.
Ich hab gerade einen Schock. Das Turnier ist vorbei.
Ja.
Ja.
Ich habe mich 3 Wochen darauf gefreut. Ich hatte 0 Games Malsaha. Ach du Scheiße.
Tja.
Aber meinst du nicht so, da zum Beispiel.
Vorbei. Es gibt kein Loser-Bracket oder irgendwas.
So ist das Leben, ja.
Der Plan, den wir Mitte gedived sind, das war unser einer Plan, wo wir direkt 2 Turrets bekommen. Das war einfach mal gedived. Wir sind actually nicht weak gewesen für im Midgame so.
Da war ich aber nicht dabei.
Ja, aber wenn wir mal, das war das Einzige, was wir im Game gemacht haben, wo wir auch zu 5 rein sind. Oh ja.
Ja, aber wir wurden ja auf beiden Sidelines halt die ganze Zeit rausgedrückt. So.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. War nach Early Game sehr rough. Trotzdem hat Paul wieder sehr gut gespielt.
Gut. Ja.
Also die Flex Games von euch waren fun.
Ja.
Also die Matches haben mir Spaß gemacht. Sorry, dass meine Leistung nicht so gut war.
Same. Alt und washed hat man leider gemerkt.
Egal, das erste Game hat aber Bock gemacht. War trotzdem ein cooles Team.
Ja, wäre ich dem ersten Game
also
nicht
vor
so
3
dumm
Wochen
gestorben,
rumgeheult, dass
vorne
wir
und
die
hätte nasses
Favoriten sind und dass die Teams unbalanced sind. Jetzt sind wir 0-2 raus, oder was?
Ja.
Okay, gut.
Okay, gut.
Alles klar, dann. Danke fürs Zocken und euch noch einen schönen Tag.
Danke für die Games.
Wünsche ich auch.
Tschüss.
Ja, was soll ich sagen? Paul hat besser gespielt als ich. Kann ich nichts anderes zu sagen in Lane. Es war so die Abwägung, wir wollen Blue Side gehen für halt eben Malsa First Pick Dynamik, was auch Sinn ergibt, glaube ich. Zu gehen mit den beiden Mittlern, die halt alle Malsa spielen wollen, aber ich habe gedacht, ich kann Nasus Jack Trünnemer halt nicht blind picken, weil der Jacks Counter picken wird, aber Trünnemer ist halt das gleiche wie im modernen League. Nasus Counter in dem alten League, wenn Leute nicht wussten, dass sie Proxy farmen gehen können. Er hat einfach geproxy farmt und danach hat er einfach das Game gewonnen, weil er einfach alle Camps invaden kann, right? Ist einfach hier Wir stehen 1-1, Toplane ist fein, ich habe sogar Rap-Buff, gerade erst Phyllis ist gekillt und so. Aber ich lane halt nicht mehr gegen ihn. Und dann ist halt, da du invaded, die Camps sind immer ab. Und ich glaube, ich hätte das einfach auch so kalkulieren sollen und so spielen sollen. Ist einfach schlechter von mir. Noch komplett outscared auf der Map, Kasse sondern viel besser in Mitte als Lux. Spot, dann hat sich so einfach Bruce gefühlt, keine Ahnung warum. Exakt, aber das ist, wie er auch gesagt hat, einfach sehr hart für ihn, das Spiel zu spielen. Auch mit 5000 Gold mehr würde Trunner mehr sehr viel machen. Schlichtweg sehr stark von Povivel. Mir zum Beispiel, wir töten ihn halt. Wir sind eigentlich gut im Game. Ist alles nicht so doomed, aber er kann mich einfach ignorieren und Proxy farmen. Weil wenn das Leute damals gewusst hätten, wäre Trunner auch schon damals gut gewesen gegen Nasus. Das mit dem Proxy farmen, aber obviously ist es heutzutage klar und deswegen hätte ich es wissen müssen, logischerweise.
Tja.
So, da war halt 5 CS ab im 2 gegen 1 gegen Rumatra. Ja, aber das Ding ist, es geht nicht wirklich um CS in dem Game. Sie müssen legit Bot dann einfach diven. Er muss da sagen, Dalukat, komm zu mir, wir diven. Das ist der einzige Play, den er hat, damit er diesen Turnier auch ausgleichen kann, right? Das ist der einzige Weg. Weil ich bin auf jeden Fall schuld daran, dass der Turnier mehr stark wird. Ich jetzt besser draften müssen und so. Und dann müssen wir halt eben versuchen, woanders Pressure aufzubauen. Das Game einfach zu schnell überall doomt. Ach, dieses Kack-Proxy-Farm ist so OP hier. Static Shift, Wave von hinten, nächste Wave von hinten, Camps invaden. Ja, auch einfach Turnier mehr blinden sollen, auch wenn dann Jax oder sowas kommen würde.
Stimmt, war das komplett OP, Static Shift war noch.
Dann bezahlen wir ein paar Gangstoten. Game ist GG. Gucken wir Genji gegen Hamba Game 3. Läuft das noch?
Ja, läuft noch. So, Draft.
I'll say is that their drafts as of
Abfahrt.
have been a little bit risky. They've often been very narrow win conditions, incredibly difficult to play, like their Game 1 draft, which they piloted incredibly well, or sometimes just leave themselves open to potentially just getting bowled over in the early game skirmishes into a composition like what Hanwha likes to run, where they just take over the map. But I think a big part, as the desk was talking about in that last game, of why Zeka got fed was because there was no cover for Chovy by Pantheon. You know, Canyon wasn't really able to stop him.
Let's take my hand and draft, yeah.
We're watching those replays back, like he was question mark pinging the top side of the map before Kanavi jumped out of the jungle from the...
Ich arbeite beim Premier-Finale. Aber ihr könnt mich auch abfucken.
They just weren't able to track him very well on that one, as it looks like we have a bit of a delay on our pick and ban here for this final game.
A little bit. Throwing oranges at Genrungi is a little bit rude.
Say as well as telling him to catch them.
Ah, well, we'll see whether he can catch him, because it looked a little bit violent, I'm not going to lie. And I think throwing oranges at a tiger is not very nice, because a tiger doesn't want to eat oranges.
I think
carnivorous.
Genrangi is just soaring in popularity right now, by the way.
Ist announced, dass er in Köln ist.
Oh, yeah.
Announcement kam vor kurzer Zeit.
Big and cute and very bird-like and Rip Bunky, and I was very upset about it. But, you know, Ati, I think, is getting a little dethroned right now by all the Genrangi content that we've been seeing around the world.
In EWC, it wasn't actually shown on the broadcast, but the dance that Genrungi did, there were 5 of them, Wolf.
There's a lot of videos of it online. So
it was absolutely amazing. Darude Sandstorm as well. And let's get into pick and ban here for the final game of the evening. Kane's expression has not changed whatsoever from the last time he was on camera.
The longer you get into these 6-game days, right? It's 10 p.m. Korean Standard Time. You know, you feel the exhaustion, especially after the momentum was so swift against you in that last game. Genji have been in so many high-stakes series, though. I am sure they'll be able to keep themselves focused going into this third game.
Kann man jetzt zum PRM-Finale was selbstgebackenes, gekochtes mitbringen?
4 champions per role.
Gebacken? Wieso nicht? Gekocht wahrscheinlich schwierig. Right, aber gebacken, ey, lieben gerne.
Sort of banned by default. Jace, another big one here. Lucian, and that one is going to be banned away. I think Nocturne priority is going to be going up, given the junglers that we've seen so far.
Was die Login-Probleme behoben sind, ich habe keine Info. Gelei, danke fürs halbe Jahr.
It's going to be from Hummer Life Esports aside, as the Annie will hit the deck. An interesting ban, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. One that we were talking about in the last game, but I mean, Wukong Annie, very simple to play.
Yep.
It's not what I'd expect to see banned against someone like Chovy, but it is certainly a very powerful pick. Lucian is mandatory. Ezreal's gone.
Was war gebacken ist, eine 1600 Kalorien. Also, ich sag mal so, mein Freund, da ist dann im September. Ja.
Something we were talking about before. But one thing that I think is going to be played this game, and I'm feeling it in my bones, you know, is the Yone. I just feel like Yone is going to be played.
That's a pretty aggressive prediction, but it could happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see Lulu in this game. Some sort of Lulu lane on one side or the other.
So ein guter High-Protein Hauptschulkraut Brown. Hauptschulkraut Brown. Was ist Ach, Hash Brownie. Ah.
No, I don't think so.
Das hat leider ein bisschen länger gedauert. Ich bin aber unschuldig.
Blind picks here, there aren't a whole lot of safe ones. Victor, I don't think is something you want to pick first. Doesn't really grab onto the game or take control. Like Genji chose first pick, so this first one needs to be a big one.
Yeah. The Nocturne is, as far as the tier list is concerned, the top of it.
But after watching Canyon play the Global Pantheon last game, I don't know if Genji fans are necessarily convinced on this one here at the start of this draft.
We'll be able to do the Canyon thing, where he just hard farms as quickly as possible. We'll see how aggressive he goes as well. We've seen some Nocturnes go for very aggressive invades.
Welche Midlane-Picks haben wir noch offen? Wir haben noch Syndra.
Aurora could be the angle here in this draft, depending on what Zeka does pick up.
Wieso das hier nicht mehr gedraftet? Gute Frage. Könnte jetzt aber kommen, alle Strecker.
And there's that Yunara with a Lulu, I think, to come with it. And this is what we expected, or at least I expected, coming into this draft. Although they pivot the last possible second over to that Victor I was talking about.
Okay, Victor has been a big one for Zeka recently. He's actually found a lot of success on this champion.
And Xin over Skarner. We haven't seen Kanavi really enjoy to play the Skarner all too much.
And this is one of his favorites.
Oh, this one we saw yesterday, and we did not like it that much, but it did win, and it was very funny.
Oh, that's a Kiana. He's just scaring the fans. He likes the Shyvana the most, though, and so the Shiv will...
Dieses Anime.
That roar from the crowd was not a pleasant one.
Yeah, that was a shriek. Look, some people, I imagine, are pretty excited about it. This is a fun pick, right? And the last time we saw Kanavi play...
Aber er hat es gestern auch gespielt im Casper Cup.
He also hard-inted, but he also hard-carried.
Yeah, we called it the 1v10 because he had to verse himself as well, and he was fighting back. Let's just say that. All right, let's see what Genji are going to lock in here. The Varus a consideration, which is a quite interesting one. And it looks like Genji are going to be locking down, theoretically, a potential...
Das ist Shyvana top, nein, es ist Shyvana Jungle.
Side of the map, so you do have that added flexibility.
And they're not going to get the Lulu lane, Hanwha Life are, into this if it is going to be a bottom lane pick.
I mean, you can still... Like, HLE could pick Lulu on 3 if they wanted to.
They can.
Because there's
Aphelios,
Kog'Maw, and Yunara that can be played with it. Yeah. That is a Syndra for Chovy.
All right.
Kann man Shyvana Toplane spielen, könntest du, aber es wird Shyvana Jungle, guys.
Relatively weak pre-6, but so is Shyvana. I think into Nocturne is where Shyvana is a great...
Also sehr sicher wird es Shyvana Jungle sein.
Leona lock.
Ich mag aber die First Free von Genji.
Very surprised by this at this stage of the draft.
And it could also mean that the Victor is going into the bottom lane. We do have to remember that Gumayushi could be the one piloting this in theory, even though we have seen the mages kind of take a back seat as far as bottom lane.
There's not a lot of engaged follow-up for the scatter. Like, yes, the Nocturne can follow, but remember, the Jhin is banned, regardless of where this Varus is going. Could still be played in the top lane. And if they ban away Nautilus, then what other engage is left here for Duro to play? Maybe that's why they grabbed the Leona here, and maybe we just see Guma Ziggs.
Yeah,
possibility. It could also still be the Victor bottom lane, but unlikely, I would say.
Yeah, I don't really like it as much, but we do have to remember that Zeka could pivot to something else. The Sylas is going to be taken away. They do not believe that Chovy is definitely playing the Syndra.
I mean, the Sylas angle is pretty big here, so I do...
Yeah, Sylas into Shyvana is kind of silly.
Yeah, I do really appreciate that ban, regardless of whether even Keen was picking that one up on the top side. It's crazy that Gnar has not seen a look in this draft at all, or any of these at all. With all the counter picks right now in the meta, though, I think he's starting to fall a little bit off Jack's ban, but there's no Olaf.
An interesting one. We are getting towards the end of the top lane pool.
That makes me feel like the Varus might be going top. Because Varus is... You know, often you play the Jax into it to try to get some angles for the all-ins.
I'm a little bit worried about that because it's Zeus. I don't think that you can blind Varus safely into this guy, as there is a Rakan. Like, Zeus might even just Gragas the Varus, and that could be really scary.
Okay, so what's
Rakan taken away?
What's Duro gonna play? You know, is the other question.
Rel.
Ja, wahrscheinlich Rel. Nautilus finde ich nicht super, ja.
Not necessarily an ideal Rel angle here. One more top ban potentially, or something towards Gumayushi. Okay, we'll be at Cassante. This draft is very open-ended for both teams with these mages.
Yeah. Hard to know where things are going.
Might change a little bit right here, though, if Guma is so bold to pull out his debut pick. Leona and... Okay, Leona and Kaisa, a little bit more of a common pairing, but Leona and Yunara, not really... strong...
Irgendwie mag ich die 4-5, ne, also das mag ich nicht.
Yeah, I feel like Gumayushi is just playing with the hearts of the fans right now, but it looks like they're going to lock this one in. Yunara Leona is not a lane that I've seen succeed all that often.
I mean, it's just not one we ever really see, but it can work well if the Leona is set up well and is not playing into a range matchup. There's not a whole lot of range left.
Okay, what is Ruler going to be locking away here? And will it be his bottom lane choice? I think if it's top lane Varus and mid lane Syndra with this Nocturne, like, I'm very worried. But that is going to be a Kalista Renata.
Scheiße.
This composition is insane.
Kann funktionieren. Es kann funktionieren, right? Was ist die Antwort jetzt auf Toplane, Varus? Erzähl mal, wer gewinnt.
Zero frontline, not even a little bit of frontline. The only frontline is the frontline that they create by making HLE fight each other.
Bot dann ist hard-winning für GENG.
The Kalista is very powerful at, you know, just kind of forcing her way through a lot of fights, but if she gets CC'd by anything, it's a problem. You mentioned the Gragas earlier as a counter pick here for Zeus into this Varus, and it is going to be what we see here.
It's Mundo instead. Okay.
Aber die haben sehr viel Damage für Mundo, oder?
A very difficult health bar to eat through when we get to the late game. And Honda Life Esports
Ich kann's nicht einschätzen.
fully into scaling here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not talking about the Shyvana turning into a dragon, but we're all late game. We've got decent engage, but it's hard for you to get on top of Yunara if you've got.
Ich kann's nicht einschätzen.
You got to get through this Shyvana and the
Logik sagt irgendwie.
It's over. GENG will just never be able to win. I don't think so.
Wirklich?
Wirklich?
Ich weiß nicht, ob ich den Castern dazu stimme.
Keep away. The handshake's great. The scat of the week's great. Into a Mundo, though, it's going to do basically nothing. And it's going to have to be absolute heroism here for GENG to make.
Ich weiß nicht, ob ich den Castern da so zustimme.
20 minutes into this game is what I'm kind of feeling.
Here's what I think is how GENG will have to win this game. Level 6 gets hit for the Nocturne, and Canyon is ulting on cooldown non-stop, any pressure point he can find. If he can do that, get the Varus ahead, make sure this Kalista can have a mid-game that's super powerful where they can control early dragons, they can just take hold of the game and never, ever let it go, be oppressive, they can win this game. If they can't do that, if they lose control for any second, at any moment, one bad team fight, and it is done. It's lights out. GENG have a comp, I think, that can make this work, but like game one, the execution is going.
Weiß nicht, ob ich so mit den Castern zustimme. I don't know.
We'll see whether they can do it. It's a fun draft, I'll give them that, but it could be a tough game to play out. Let's get over the rift for game 3. All right, I think the GENG fans figured out that HLE are just way too loud, and they did increase the volume. Let's see how this one's going to go.
As a young League of Legends commentator in 2021, you told me about one of the principles of the LCK, which was that you could never let Ruler have Kalista. Kalista was not meta, but it was banned in every single game.
That is true.
GENG was playing, and that was a different time. It's a long time ago. It was 5 years ago. But Ruler gets his hands on it here in this pivotal game in a pretty rare situation. I mean, right now, Kalista Renata is one of the most oppressive bottom lanes in the game. Renata wasn't released when we were talking about those bans back then. I trust that he should be able to generate a lead in this matchup here into Guma and Delight. But how well can he use those advantages, and how well can Canyon play through his level 6 is the real question.
And how well can Keen take control of this lane as well, right? Because the Mundo is susceptible early, but will be able to just run down the Varus. If he gets an advantage, it'll be very, very difficult for Keen to kind of do anything unless he's underneath the turret and has been able to take away the CC immunity from Zeus, and that's going to be a tough thing to do as well, with only Chains of Corruption really being able to do so.
There were a few different picks Zeus could have gone for into the Varus, right? Like the Gragas is definitely an option. You know, we saw
Also ich finde, die haben wirklich genug Damage für Mundo, aber vielleicht irre ich mich, ne? Also es kann auch sein. Ja, volle HP Renata in Arena, ja.
Yeah, and I kind of like that for the rest of the idea of this comp. They have a Victor, they have a Yunara. Not to mention the Shyvana, of course, for late game as well.
And HLE only just lost their first Mundo game, I'm pretty sure, against T1 in the Casper Cup just earlier. It was a very different draft that T1 went with in that one, and it was a barn burner. It was a long game, and they were eventually able to take it down, but it's a tough one to do. This is Chovy's first Syndra game so far this season, which is kind of crazy.
Ne, er hat den Casper gespielt, oder nicht?
Duro also playing this Kalista Renata for the first time.
Oder internationally?
This is an early Nocturne gang.
Ne, bei First hat er es nicht gespielt. Er hat bei Casper, glaube ich, gespielt.
Cleanse, Flash, Heal, everything's available.
Oder EWC Qualifier oder irgendwie sowas.
Bottom lane for HLE.
Ah ne, die waren schon eingeladen, ne?
It's going to be a tough one. Let's see whether they can make the handshake work as Gumayusi flashes. The fear comes down. The bailout isn't quite going
Ja, ist fein, aber...
Get the kill under the Yunara.
Ja, ist natürlich total feiner Dive.
I believe that was first blood going over to the Leona as now Keen in trouble.
Wow.
Just barely survives, and Zeus is not going to be so lucky. 2 for 2 across the board.
Trades in the dives. As unfortunately for Zeus, he isn't able to get out there. Looked for a moment like he was just healthy enough, but he was not. And this Victor has been pushed out of lane here a second time by Chovy.
Dass da noch einen rausbekommen hat.
Let's play one more time. It's all about whether or not you can get the kill to get the bailout if you want this dive to be clean. As Guma survives just a little bit too long, but ultimately does go down anyways, and Ruler is able to walk it off. So that's a big win there on the bottom side, even when with the trade, because Ruler survives and Guma is out. Keen flashes here. Kanavi is able to survive with the Triumph coming through, but it looks like just a few hit points shy of surviving for Zeus.
Yeah, just barely able to get the turret aggro back onto Zeus as well, as in the LCK, this is a very long time ago that we did have the Mundo on the top side of the map. Zeus has been playing it a lot recently, but in MSI and things like that, not necessarily here in the LCK. So it's been like, I can't really do the math there, but that looks a bit like
5 years, Rascal Genji.
All right, well, there you go. A long time ago. As Ruler and Duro actually held onto their flashes that entire time, so they will still have so much control of this lane. You can see 300 gold is the advantage, but I expect that to extend.
Trying to... that's really the name of the game for this composition, is to get ahead in lanes. The Syndra has a small lead. The bottom lead is much larger after the dive. And it's a lead for Keen as well on the top side of the map because they got that kill, but he still maintains a large farm advantage. Mundo does well even on low eco, but it's going to take a while before we get there, and Canyon's here for
Redive is super.
I've seen this movie before, ladies and gentlemen, and with those flashes available, they can go for a Canyon, Umbral Blades.
Das ist wahrscheinlich das beste Early Game von Genji in den letzten 2 Monaten.
Kanavi can get this done without an ultimate. I don't think so. Keen also has his ult to peel.
Oh, Keen steps forward, and without Ghost, without Flash, he is definitely going to go down. He wants
Bekommt der Zeus noch tot? Ne, bekommt er nicht.
Not going to be possible. Really nicely played here by HLE on the cross map.
I still think this favors Genji because they get a real tangible lead there bottom side, and once again remove the 80 carry from the map, whereas this is just putting a small hole and a little bit of catch-up here for Zeus on the top side. Keen didn't know about that gank. That's why he walked far forward there. If he had just played back, he might have actually been able to be totally fine, but that far up, not a prayer. This time, Guma doesn't have Flash, and Delight is just going to try to stun. Picks up turret aggro here, which is Ruler, but they can kill him so fast that Ruler only takes the single turret shot on the edge and walks right out of aggro range. And here for Keen, he just knows he's dead as soon as Kanavi shows up, just tries to kite this one back and do as much damage as possible, but it wasn't even close.
Yeah, not quite able to do that. And a second belt is done here for Zeus. Probably going to be going for a Warmogs, allowing him to get into the wave, clear it out, and walk away.
Early Drake Stack, super. Erneut eine Kalista, die hält, das kann Games sehr hart snowballen.
Going up here with Delight to try to put the pressure on this Varus. And they're going to put Mundo down here to apply defensive measures, triage for that bottom lane. Kanavi does now have his ult available there on the bottom side, but still diving into a Kalista Renata to try to defend this window. Could be kind of a, I want to say fool's errand, but a very risky endeavor.
Let's just say that. They do have the bailout as well, which is going to be real difficult. Zay's just laughing at them, which is quite amusing. But I don't think he's really going to be able to affect too much there in that lane. And GENG lead by about 1,000 gold. I think they're going to want that to be a larger number, as this is kind of a doomed wave state for Keen to deal with. As it is going to be Gumayushi holding on to that one, not going to be trying to shove that in or anything like that. On the other side of the rift, Ruler is putting the pressure on. And the more plates that do fall down, the more that lead will extend here for GENG. And I imagine that is going to be the game plan here.
You see a dive topside. Keen did not use his flash, so is going to have a little bit of defensive.
Ja, Game 1 zu 2 sehr umkämpft.
But there's so much here.
Game 1 war das wahrscheinlich beste GENG-Game in einer ganz langen Zeit. Game 2 war nicht so gut von GENG, gut gepunished von Hanwha.
And it looks like Zayas is just going to push bottom. He can TP in, however. This is going to be a really pivotal fight this early game, especially if HLE can win it. GENG need to hold on.
Ja, aber die können nicht. Keine Ulti ab.
HLE are going to commit, but GENG really...
Soll ich denn sagen, dass sie ja oben Sonne ausmachen? Ja, ja. Eine Klima spendieren? Nein, aber ich kann euch im Herbst/Winter...
The really important thing for this game for HLE is being able to play cross-map effectively. Because they just need to make sure that they stay.
Ich kann euch im Winter daran erinnern, eine zu kaufen.
Just lead them to the promised land of this late game where their tanks are too tanky and they will do too much damage. Gumayushi will be able to be that hyper carry that they need. Canyon just going to walk towards Delight here. That Dustbringer working out, but Kanavi will take the blue. And they will be able to walk it off. So GENG,
ja, Sekka auf Akali ist natürlich super gut.
As they enter the enemy jungle.
As Merc treads Victortus isn't necessarily ready to fight. He is going to come over here and apply a little bit of damage. But that will be the end of this skirmish. There is a possibility of a dive onto the Varus, but again, with those defensive tools, it's really difficult, even with Kanavi holding ult, to make it happen.
Ooh, Static Shiv done here for Ruler. I do kind of like this. So many times it is the Blade of the Ruin King first for the Kalista, or has been in the past. I like this adaptation, this item being buffed quite a few times.
Just gives you more fast prio and more ability to jump into a fight as soon as possible.
Yeah, being able to clear out waves comfortably is definitely good, and the fact that it upgrades the on-hit from the other items is going to be important as well. Exactly. As Chovy doing a lot of poke damage onto Zeka.
Zeka just holding his ground here, as Keen has done a great job in this 1v2 of just absorbing Guma's attempted pressure and this attempted lane swap to turn his fortunes around. He is going to cash in a call in 37 minions time to even things up a little bit more here, as Kanavi has just not really been able to impact this bottom lane. He's been hovering around here a lot. He's been constantly trying to see if he could find an angle, but it's just too much pressure. And they don't really.
Ich kann im Winter auch sagen, ich kann mit Support spielen, bringt der jetzt auch nichts. Boah, bist du ein Arschloch manchmal, ne? Das ist ja komplett gestört.
Waiting for an opportunity, and Canyon made his mark on the bottom lane early on, and now we're really truly living in this lane swap meta. Guma's going to feel the pressure soon about the role quest completion time. That's going to be first for Ruler 100%, and so he will start to actually pull further ahead.
Und wir haben Casino, kein Casino.
Initial cash in from the quest completion and the additional gold from minions as we move forward here. So something to keep in mind. That is something that will cost Gumayushi in the short term here in this game, which will further the lead and the power of this tempo-based composition for GENG.
Now Ruler just trying to change, stop back here, but not going to be able to do so. And we'll just clear out the minion wave very comfortably with that status.
Hat der Männer-Account immer noch Urlaub? Yep, Samstag, 15 Uhr sind wir back.
Zayas' pants are going to be held up effectively.
With 3 belts, I imagine so. He's also kind of a big guy, so I don't know how much of a belt he really needs.
True.
I don't know what size he's wearing, but I don't know how big they make him. As Guma is going to get some plates here with the help of Kanavi, as finally they'll start to get this wave crash through and pick up some much-needed gold. On the bottom side, though, it's a turret.
Yep, and it's a Drake that goes down there as well. Cloud Soul does come in for GENG.
It's turret plus roll quest here for Ruler for an explosive gold surge, and they are not done yet. They're just going to keep pushing.
Oh, great handshake does come down as the Solar Flare will connect. Ruler might need a bailout, but does not actually need it.
Ist gut. Geiles Makro. Ich finde diese 3, also ich glaube 3 Grobbies, by the way, super underrated. Schon das zweite Game, wo du halt solche Trades nehmen kannst oder bekommen kannst.
He doesn't know where Canyon is, so he's kind of like, well, this is a little scary. I want to get this, but it's kind of a little bit too free right now. Not sure if I trust that. Zeka's also going to get the proc of this Crypt, oh, I said Crypt Bloom, but the Crystalline Overgrowth.
Indeed.
And grab that first plate. Kanavi has been spending this entire early and now beginning of the mid-game trying to find an angle and not being successful. So big win for GENG on the bottom lane, getting that roll quest, getting that turret. But again, for HLE, you're behind right now, but you're supposed to be. And you're not in a game state where the game is unplayable. Yes, GENG have 2 dragons, but that's also natural, considering how much bottom lane...
Das Game ist sehr schwer, meiner Meinung nach. Weil ich glaube, das Midgame wird auch nicht besser, wenn diese Kalista, by the way, Static auf Kalista ist, ja, ist normal.
That mantle for just a moment. And he needs to get his roll quest as soon as possible, Guma, though, because he is otherwise going to continue.
Wenn diese Kalista 2 Items hat, ist es nicht leichter, by the way.
Yeah, so we'll have a bit of extra money back, but it is currently 850, close to 900 gold here for Ruler as he is dancing around the mid lane right now.
You can lose dives, but you can't lose team fights if you're HLE. That's really the main difference maker here. Is now he's going to be laning against 80 carry Keen.
Yeah, there we go. Another one. Dusk and Dawn has been completed here for the Varus. 3 minutes on the Dragon, but I think the next fight should be around this Rift Herald, 1 minute and 45. And I think that it's going to be Kanavi's time to shine on this Dragon. Haven't seen a Dragon's Descent just yet. And Canyon wanting to get that paranoia brushed off as well. Zeus will have his shield removed. Taking a lot of damage here. Zeka as well.
They're trying to maybe make a topside play here as GENG are grouped in the mid lane. And now Kanavi's going to have to make a choice. He's walking face first into that duo.
Yeah, Canyon spots him out. And Dustbringer just going to be thrown over. Props to Canyon for choosing the best Nocturne skin. I love Spooky Nocturne.
This is really scary here for HLE. I think they're just going to have to give this
ja,
up. Again,
die können super horden. Spielt und aus, PTA oder liefert Tempo. Der spielt PTA.
You cannot lose team fights. Now we have a flanking Mundo.
That's a scary moment here.
Nee, liefert Tempo.
I think Keen knows the problems here. Chains of Corruption connects onto Guma.
Wow!
Finds it! And a 1-for-1. Even has to fall.
Nächster Dodge. Nach unten, nach unten. Oh.
Zeus will put him down, but that 1-for-1. No, that's not what HLE was wanting.
It's a disaster because now Chovy's got full topside control because there's nobody up here to hold the wave. Chovy's getting money. Keen got money. And that was not it, unfortunately, for HLE. They were just hunkering down in the mid lane. And Canyon wasn't even needed for the peel. He still has his ultimate. And I don't think they're going to collapse with Ruler, but they did consider it for a moment there as he did leave the mid lane. And Zeus is now just going to grab this plate and back away. Watch Keen on the play, gets hit by the ult, but damn, that damage is real. Chains of Corruption, and the burst comes through. Sidesteps the briefcase to force the flash.
Bonk.
As well. That sidestep was actually kind of insane.
Wieso baut der Inter HC first? Das ist eine gute Frage, warum nicht mal was geht.
Required. I also really love that he goes for the ult immediate Q because this build is all about blight damage, right? And so you get to proc that as Dragon descends into this river. Hostile takeover connects onto a lot of HLE as Kanavi almost just straight up dead as he does manage to fly his way out. But I don't know whether this Dragon's going to be doing much. Chovy eating damage from this Rift Herald.
Puma's got no sums and no ult. I think they just have to let it go. And look at the push in the bottom lane. Keen, who didn't need to TP in, is just chilling. And GENG have kept this oppressive comp, again, exactly where it needs to be. It's like the opposite of game one, where the comp was like a slow-moving Ornn composition. This one is just a blender of damage and early game power. And everywhere they go, it's like it's a repelling.
Man spielt den Spire zurzeit nicht.
You have to scatter away from it and try to pick up the pieces elsewhere.
And they definitely cannot be walking through choke points. Duro took complete control in that moment. I think this Renata is going to be absolutely pivotal as this game goes on.
Eine Renata holt die für diesen Fight hier.
It's because he hits the perfect handshakes. He hits fantastic ultimates.
HLE got prio on this Dragon, but it's still not an easy fight to take. Kanavi still needs a little bit more bar here in order to activate his ultimate.
And Keen has moved over. Ruler eats through these waves so fast with his static shiv. And Canyon a little bit late on that spell shield, but he'll be all right. Scatter the Weak does connect there. And the Rift Herald is just going to annoy them. Zeka gonna have to deal with this. It could be a double charge actually if this does get through, but it doesn't actually eat it in one shot. And now GENG on this Dragon. It is going to be Kanavi.
Zu deep von Hanwha, oder? Shot auf Ruler. Oh mein Gott.
Duro looks for the knock-up, and now it's Gumayushi's time to shine, but he gets scattered. Keen gets on top. It's a double for the...
Und ich sage es euch, by the way, ich habe den Caster nicht zugestimmt mit dem Damage von Mundo, na? Oh, er ist tot.
Oh my god, well, I mean, he can just kill the Varus. I guess he can. Yeah, gives them the good old thumbs up and points his little Teemo finger. That was very nicely done.
He's going to TP out for the escape as well, but this is not enough of a turn back here for HLE. The engage is so haphazard, but it has to be during Paranoia, right? So Canyon uses Paranoia to try to secure this objective. Zeka isn't in the play. Mundo's trying to wrap around here when the engage comes through.
Mal sehen, wie Level 16 wird, right? Aber erneut, also...
Canyon gets bailed out, so it's a trade of a...
Holy fuck, Keen hat den komplett gewone-shottet.
Duro flashes out of the Chaos Storm as Zeka finally gets in.
Der hat den komplett gewone-shottet gerade, Kanavi.
Damage and too much health as they are able to walk away from this one, holding Soul Point with a team fight win. Zeus gets Keen here, which is kind of crazy actually. Yeah. Just gets that extra auto off there.
Das ist halt nice as fuck. Der war aus Rocket Bad Second, hat er letztes Mal schon gespielt. Ja, Kraken, das kommt down, ist nämlich der Damage-Bild.
Team fights, they just lost one and they just lost Soul Point.
And Zeus is actually all of HLE's kills, but one. This Mundo is just the lifeline. He is
goes where he pleases, doesn't he?
He does. He pleased to go back to his fountain, though, after that last skirmish. Wasn't actually able to win out in the fight. And now a dash cannon has been completed here for Keen. Chovy happily farming here towards the top side. Rageblade done for Ruler as well, alongside those glutinous Greaves. As there's a Paranoia, they are looking to try and engage onto the Leona, but she has a lot of tankiness. Still, it's not going to help with those sticks.
Oh, Ruler, bekommt den W, Kanavi stirbt. Oh. Nein, aber Keen lebt noch. Oh mein Gott, und guck mal, lol, sie hat einen gekillt.
So it doesn't even matter the Ruler goes down.
It's so hard to just focus the AD carry when there's a Renata right next to him. Yes, they get the kill. They do deny the bailout, but they have to go so deep to do it that it backfires again. And HLE now find themselves 3K in the hole. To watch this one more time, Kanavi's trying to threaten, but he steps too far forward here. Delight has to commit to the engage. The Paranoia makes the follow-up a little bit tricky for Gumo, who's on the edge of this fight as a 0-4 Yunara, who just is so far away from relevance in this game. But with all the collapse here and the Victor damage coming through, Ruler is burst. But look at the scatter. Down goes the jungler. Now you're caught here. You can't fight anymore, and Guma gets caught by the chains of corruption. It's a 1 for 3. And this comp was scaling, right? It was starting to get online, but they ended up getting caught. They were forced to take that fight, and it just doesn't work out. You can see the initial excitement, but it's a disaster in the end.
Yeah, that was definitely a roller coaster of emotions that we witnessed from the audience. And Ruler once again eviscerating waves over and over again. Delight moving through his jungle, trying to get some vision down as Duro gets that stolen blue buff.
But it wasn't
having extra ability.
Wann kann Yunara Damage machen? Ja, 3 Items auf jeden Fall mal. Vielleicht sogar 4 hier. Ist sehr schwer für den Uptime zu bekommen, denke ich.
Yeah, but it's... Oh god, it's a 2,000 gold lead here for Ruler at the moment.
Really not,
look at that Ren damage onto Guma.
Not ideal, because they're going to try to run it back again, I guess.
Let's see whether it does work out, as the Baron is kind of what they're fighting for at the moment. 1 minute until the Dragon.
Boah, Chovy hat wenig Stacks, ne? 92 Stacks ist verhältnismäßig echt wenig. Schönes Rocket Bed. Canyon.
But this is not the kind of engage that they're looking for. HLE set up the phalanx, and the scatter will be nice, but there's not a follow-up available, so GENG will back away.
The first time in a long time, HLE know their place, know to be patient. There were a few different angles they could have tried to take there post-Delight engage, but they decided to think better of it. Oh, this is a little pocket of vision they found here. GENG have no information.
Was?
So far away,
oh mein Gott.
They might actually get away.
Oh mein Gott.
They're not going to be able to get vision down. No one is in the area. Canyon is looking to come.
Oh mein Gott.
To get the bad news too early. There's the Baron HLE.
Soul trotzdem.
HLE needed a lifeline most.
Die Sache ist, der Dash initially gibt halt nicht viel Geld, right? Das heißt, sie müssen jetzt quasi noch den Fight gewinnen bei der Soul.
This Cloud Soul, and I think they're just going to be a little bit too slow to stop this one. And this Cloud Soul gives this comp so much longevity. Will they actually collapse? And here comes the Mundo TP. It's going to be a
Rauspolen, Lichter aus.
Jelly will arrive just the same.
Well, I mean, Keen actually, he went back to base.
Warte, Keen ist Base. Was? Jovi. Oh, die eingeflashte Ulti von Duo war so gut. Das war sick. Das war so sick. Oh. Ruler? Oh mein Gott, Ruler hat gegrieft. Ruler hat gegrieft. Oh mein Gott, sie haben es geworfen. Oh mein Gott, sie haben es geworfen.
GENG may have just hit the use-by date on this composition, and Zeus is going where he pleases.
Oh! No way!
Now Chovy is going to
no way!
going to be able to find him. Does nothing. It's a double for Chovy. He's the last Baron alive.
The dragon was not taken in the fight. GENG still have their jungler alive because he
Krank. Das müsste Soul sein, ja.
His ultimate coming back online as well.
Das müsste Soul sein.
This game is ridiculous.
Zeus hat kein TP.
This looked like it was
Und ich habe gerade Mejas gesehen bei Chovy. Die eingeflashte Ulti von Duro war so geil.
Try to kill Chovy. That this is a dead Shyvana on arrival. Chovy used his ultimate for it though, and watch Guma here. He actually flashed onto Chovy, and then watch the redirect as he realizes he can't chase this Syndra down, and they need his damage. It's a great decision from Guma. Gets over the wall. Now he's out of range of Ruler, so he lets his teammates peel. Chovy gets the scatter, but cannot finish off the kill onto the Yunara. But what happens next is a bit of an overextension here as Guma cannot dive this turret, and Chovy ends up picking up a kill, and the dragon is still alive.
Oh man, that was...
I think it might not be alive.
But inches. Yeah, no, the Drake was secured by GENG.
So they have Cloud Soul.
Yeah, Zeus a little bit frustrated about that one, you could imagine.
It just wasn't necessary to make that play, but they got outplayed by Chovy. They thought, I mean, I would have made that play as well, but...
3 Items jetzt bei Ruler plus Soul.
Trying to defend this push is GENG, as this comp is starting to scale here for HLE.
Wow, das ist eine
Soulflare is gonna go one.
Interessant geusete Leona-Ulti auf jeden Fall.
One Baron left alive. The Rebel Baron power play is sitting at 500 gold. So not exactly the greatest, but still up, which is good. Maybe it's going down though as Canyon gonna get the ulti out of Kanavi, and with that Dragon's Descent on cooldown, I know it's easy to get back, but it does give GENG a bit of a window to push back here against HLE.
Objective, at least, for the next 5 minutes for that Elder. It's a super early Elder, it's super early Soul. We've had several of these today where we just get the super fast, like sub 25 minutes in this game, and the last one was at like 26.
Yeah, speaking of super fast though, Cloud Soul absolutely insane for GENG's composition. Exactly right. Like, Kalista is going to be booking it around these fights. Already bounces around very, very quickly, but what they need to do is kite this HLE comp as fast as they possibly can, and that's going to help.
I think that for HLE, you really have to start wondering, what's the next play here? Can you get IE for Guma in time? I think the answer is definitely yes. But then what? How do you get Prio? How do you get control? And do you just simply make the choice to try to defend this Elder buff? You've got mid interrup, you've got top interrup. If you could just sit back and scale and just farm waves here, it might be...
Outskilled, wer sind wir? Du bist GENG. Nein, oder?
We'll just lose the game entirely. But if you don't opt to play the Elder flip game, maybe that's your best option. If they could somehow wrestle Prio away or find a pick and a side, that would be great. But they're the ones playing into the Doctrine. They don't have a global champion here to chase somebody down or pinch in sides. And because of the power that GENG have right now in their leads are so immaculate, it's hard to actually get control of a side for Kanavi to play through. And if he tries to use his ultimate in sides, he won't necessarily have it for that upcoming fight. So there's a lot of things that they're now going to have to figure out right now, but they have their backs against the walls. Here comes the Nocturne.
Oh, dear, there's the paranoia. They just dive on top of Delight, and he is executed. Nothing he can do about that.
And there's nothing that they could do in return on the cross map. Their best bet is to just let that go and hope they can defend this turret here as GENG group for it on the top side of the map. The wave is cleared by Zeka. The first one, the second one's coming through, and he's going to need some friends here to keep this turret alive as that crystalline is being ready to be popped.
It really is. Okay, Kanavi moving over. There's the scatter onto Zeka. That gives Ruler a bit of an opportunity to get over here. Pretty short range on the Kalista.
Syndra-Stack ist voll, ja.
As Chovy comes in, Gomushi now going to be fighting against Kane, but I don't know whether he really likes these odds.
Die Sache ist, was diese Cloud Soul halt auch gibt, ist die Möglichkeit, von dem Mundo wegzurennen.
But man, they are walking so incredibly quickly. Great handshake there onto Kanavi.
Some extra time for Zeus in the top lane. Someone's going to have to answer that.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about who he's talking to on the phone right now with his skin.
Yeah. I think he's probably he's trying to find.
Hat kein Demolish dabei. Aha.
As he's going.
He's calling Keen.
Und der ist hier mit drin. Nein, ich hab's im Draft schon, was die ganzen Caster alle gesagt haben, nicht so nachvollziehen können mit dem Damage.
Right, hard farming. Arm guard picked up for Zeka for safety. All they have to do is win the longer fight. The fights have to be longer. And I think now for Kanavi, you've got to wonder, am I diving onto one of these carries? They have too many. They have Chovy, who's giga-fed. 12 stacks of Majai's Soul Stealer. Keen on a late game Varus also has the arm guard, so diving him probably isn't the option. And Keen, Ruler, who's got Bailout, Flash, and Cleanse, probably isn't a target for you. Maybe just playing through a slower Chaos Storm fight, waiting for Guma to have his angle with the ultimate and the IE could be the best plan.
I think that's really
harder done than said, though.
Yeah.
Mal schauen, das kommt halt in 50-50, ne?
Duro is sort of the arbiter of all of these fights. It's who he gives the bailout to and the timing of which he gives it to them.
I mean, der stirbt schnell, der Nash.
On this Baron, they waste no time. It is spotted immediately. Good scatter there onto Kanavi.
Wow, Delight. Delight schießt seine Ultis wirklich sehr, 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 sehr früh jetzt, dieses Game, ne? Zeus TP.
There's a lot more secure here on this one. It does depend when Ruler pulls these sticks out as they make it dark. And in goes
Nash weg.
Still looking for the turn. The Baron is going to be secure.
Oh, hat der nicht gesmited? Doch, er hat gesmited. Oh mein Gott, ich wollte gerade sagen. Ja, Ruler hat Move Speed drauf. Verlieren die? Warte mal. Oh! Oh! Okay. Ich wollte gerade sagen, die verlieren das noch. Die gewinnen das, by the way. Der stirbt noch. No joke, er stirbt. Ja, schaut, wie er stirbt.
Yeah, I don't know why he did. This Mundo has flash, and Zane's picking up a double, and it looks like this Baron might just get deleted. Now with these respawns, I consider that HLE might get a more.
Ich war mir sicher, der Mundo kriegt gleich einen Arsch voll.
We're gonna get otherwise.
Hä?
Because of this.
Ich war mir sicher, der Mundo stirbt. No joke.
Bites his time, goes in for the flash play. He's the real cleanup. I love how this was played by HLE though. They finally got that slower fight. They're playing through Zeka's damage here.
Was er keine Damage-Item war, hat mit den höchsten Prozent-Damage im Game.
He's trying to soften them up. And it's just so slow, letting the Baron do its work. The Paranoia, they wait it out. They look for the front of the...
Also ich glaube, Ruler hat halt beide Sums hier benutzt, wenn ich es richtig in Erinnerung habe, ne?
Through from Zeka here. Ruler, though, is just so fed in this game. He's bouncing around like a Beyblade. He says no to Guma.
Okay, actually, er ist nicht geflasht. Okay. Oh.
Wait, HLE, they're on the
kein TP auf Keen. Oh mein Gott, kein TP auf Keen.
Well, here's the Paranoia. Let's see whether he can get any.
Oh mein Gott.
And it's Canyon that's going to die. He's down to the GA already.
Handsport einfach den 8. von der 11.
Back up. There goes the jungler and Home Life Esports. They got some turrets to get through, but I think they'll be able to get through them.
And they have the scaling now on their side. Chovy sitting on 0 deaths, but those deaths might be coming soon. That's HLE descend with this Elder buff with the spawn event.
Wir haben noch Rocket Belt ab und die haben aber immer noch die Delight Ulti. Ja, keine Delight Ulti mehr.
This is so hard though, because the waves are in a terrible spot here for Home Life Esports. They have to dive if they're going to make this work. And I guess Zeus has an infinite health bar, so that might actually...
Tier 2 stirbt jetzt auf der Wave, aber nicht Tier 3.
Arcane Storm, it comes down, it does a lot of damage, but not enough to kill them.
But they just got control over the map. They got control over the map, and I think that might be
der ist tot, oder?
for the rest of this game.
Nicht rein, okay.
Of this composition's incredible late game power. Kanavi gonna hit level 16. As there's a bit of a lull here as the defense comes through, some Genji fans cheering. But this Baron is not what they were looking for. They're not going to be able to break open the base with only Chovy holding it. They can't really get push anywhere.
And I swear, the gusto on Canyon and Keen to think that they could actually kill Zeus in that moment, that was their undoing.
What a huge blunder. I mean, it's really... I mean, I don't know if I was watching, I thought there's 0 chance, and he's got flash.
Oh my goodness.
But the game is not over yet.
1 Minute auf Elder. Durchlasse.
50 seconds until the Elder is up. GENG grouped as 5, but HLE, I mean, all they need is for this Mundo to race in underneath the turret.
He's just going to TP to help push. Kanavi's on the flank. His ultimate could wipe half these health bars out, and then Zeka could just drop his ult on top, and goodbye, GENG.
Oh, Kanavi going to get turned on. Maybe he's a little bit overextended. Does take a little
30 Sekunden noch.
It is otherwise going to be okay. Get some vision over. Duro does need to be really careful. He is
That's the wave.
on this Renata. Solar Flare
Catch. Kerl ist gut. Wow, Duro. Die müssen langsam spielen, einfach nur, ne? Die müssen einfach nur langsam spielen. 10 Sekunden auf Elder. Ja, Deathstance, ne? Wait, was? Warte. Ich dachte, er ist am Deathstance gestorben. War das der das war nicht der Execute, oder? Nee, das war Deathstance, oder nicht?
Because we've had so many games of Renata, but you very rarely get to defend an Elder push like this. They go so deep for it, but watch Duro as he sets this one up. It's avoided by Zeka, but the rest of the team not so lucky. Look at the damage Kanavi eats here as he's taken out.
Doch, es ist der Elder. What the fuck? Ja, doch.
My lord.
Es ist der Elder, aber lol.
Okay, well, we're learning things.
Banger, 25 Stacks bei Jovi jetzt.
Is the fact that Gumayushi is now getting some kills here in this game. 3, 6, and 7 on the United.
Sind die 25 Stacks.
Farm as well, catching up in levels.
The lead means very little for GENG.
Ich hätte auch Elder, ja, aber Gumayushi hat ihn angehittet. Mit Elder.
Couldn't be bigger. But it's about the Cloud Soul.
Also, diese Syndra ist so viel stärker, Mann.
Or don't, right? Like, Hanwha kind of got a gimme on that mistake there into Zeus on the Mundo. And so they were able to get the Elder for free. The next time around on these objectives, they'll have to fight their way through. They tried to fight their way last time on the Baron and were relatively unsuccessful until Zeus said, Mundo. But let's see what happens now, because GENG, with that defense, keep their whole base alive. No inhibitors go down, and they have a very strong amount of control vision-wise. I mean, look at the wards all around the Baron pit here for this Baron that spawns in 35 seconds.
Anti-Fieber Zeus.
Chovy has 25 stacks.
25 stacks.
Magi's, Swifty Boots upgraded, and Cloud Soul. He's like the fastest Syndra to ever exist.
No, I know, and I wonder if that 0 is ever going to become a 1 in the D column there, because I said earlier when the Elder was at, it might happen, but he did not get caught. He stayed way far back, and he ran away with that movement speed very well.
Oh, Kanavi was looking for a bit of a flank angle.
Look at the prio. I mean, GENG have so much control over the map. They have all the vision. They have the wave clear here to push this through. HLE, though, have a Mundo. They've got a teleporting Zeka, and this fight will likely be the one to decide the game.
Yeah, they're not going to go onto the Baron this time around. It's Delay taking a lot of damage. You can see Ruler in that front line. He can actually do this.
Starten die Nash einfach, oder nicht?
As well. The main CC here.
Ja, machen sie zu zweit.
The Leona, and sometimes conditionally Kanavi, is they're already on this with the Callista, and HLE are just going to nope out and push mid.
Aha. Wow, dass der Light hier stimmt, ist halt so horrible. Aber dann, also, wenn du dich dafür entscheidest, ihn zu geben, dann gib ihn ja wenigstens.
But the Baron will be traded for an inhibitor.
Aha, aber die können jetzt auch.
They're going to try to use this inhibitor pressure to take the Elder, I guess.
Weird, oder?
Back. Chovy is home now and can
es ist ein 5 gegen 4. Duro Ulti. Oh mein Gott, der Stun von Chovy. War so sick. Ja. Gewinnen die? Ruler ist am... Er gleitet so hart. Ah. Er gleitet so hart, GG. Das war halt, also, das war eine geile Sequence von GENG, aber super weird von The Light auch, richtig? Aber geil. Richtig geil.
Here in this season. One lone Leona against the onslaught that is a Baron buff GENG.
Mein Mic ist, es ist viel lauter. Es ist, wir haben alles höher gestellt. Also, ja.
20 and carrying this game, but he's going to need more friends if he's going to do it, and they just are not going to give him the time. HLE took a gamble. They looked for the play in mid lane, and it did not pay off. That's it.
Boah, Hanwha 3 Serious Lose Streak, ne? Das ist schon heavy. Wow. Geile Series. Super, super geile Series, Mann.
I would be putting it in the support column. His Poppy, unbelievable, and his Renata game saving in this series. But but my God, hats off even to HLE.
LPL, ja, ich sehe, da läuft gerade
Here today.
Game 2.
And for GENG, we'll be able to claim it in the end.
For GENG, we still have questions about the drafts, but in those two questionable drafts, they win the
Aber er war nicht questionable. Ich schwöre, er war nicht questionable. Ich bin da nicht derselben Meinung.